Surviving in hell was thought to be an impossible feat. It was a place teeming with monstrously powerful creatures, and among them one existence reigned supreme, the Demon King. And that Demon King was none other than our protagonist, Park Suho. By now he had survived in hell for so long he'd lost count of the years. Through countless battles he had finally conquered it all. But life as the ruler of hell was excruciatingly dull. He yearned to return to Earth to see beautiful women instead of tentacled monstrosities, to savor delicious cuisine instead of radioactive octopus. In his 10,000th year in hell, he finally found his way out of that infernal place, leaving the damned demons behind. Lava flowed like waterfalls in this desolate place, the ninth circle of hell. The landscape was a ruin, bathed in the crimson glow of molten rock. Even the moon hanging in the sky was grotesque. In its deepest reaches, where only the mightiest demons could survive a perpetual war, raged to determine the strongest. A black demon, its body adorned with fiery yellow stripes and a pair of massive horns, let out a ferocious roar as it pursued a red-furred creature. The two titans clashed violently, their battle tearing the landscape asunder. They exchanged relentless blows, a blur of punches and kicks. Despite the clear difference in size, their power seemed evenly matched. The red demon Balaam clenched his fist and unleashed a punch of incredible force, sending his much larger opponent flying. From within the settling dust, a voice boomed, "How disappointing!" The giant yellow-striped demon Gagath stood tall and jeered. "I heard you were quite famous in the ninth circle, so I had high expectations." He stomped forward, his steps shaking the ground. "But your punches feel like a mere tickle." The red demon Balaam narrowed his eyes and retorted scornfully, "You're all talk." Enraged by the insult, Gagath charged. "Who do you think you are to insult me?" He lunged forward, but in the blink of an eye, a massive explosion erupted, engulfing the battlefield in flames. However, it was Gagath who was thrown back by the blast. Balaam emerged from the inferno completely unscathed and shot forward like a cannonball. In an instant, he delivered a devastating punch to the giant's face. The impact was even more powerful than before, shattering the nearby rock formations in a cataclysmic shockwave. With a triumphant smile, Balaam spread his massive wings and took to the sky. On the other side of the battlefield, Gagath was still airborne from the last blow, not yet having hit the ground. Balaam had already anticipated his trajectory and was there to meet him, readying another strike. Just as he predicted, before Gagath could recover, he was struck again. The colossal demon became like a ball, helplessly pummeled back and forth. With one final mighty punch, Balaam slammed Gagath from the sky straight into the ground. Dust and debris clouded the air. As it cleared, only Balaam remained standing, his red wings unfurled. His eyes widened and he grit his teeth as he looked ahead. From out of nowhere, a horde of smaller green-skinned demons swarmed towards him. They were weak but numerous, clinging to his arms, legs, and wings, trying to immobilize him. "Child's play!" he roared, shaking them off. But it was a distraction. As Balaam was occupied, Gagath recovered. The smaller demons were his underlings, buying him time to attack. The giant demon seized the opportunity, smashing his fist down from above in a surprise attack. He grinned, believing he had landed a fatal blow. He looked down at the crater filled with lava, seeing no trace of Balaam. But before his victory could sink in, his eyes went wide with shock. Balaam stood there, not only unharmed, but glowing with even greater power. Flames erupted from his hands. "Playtime is over!" he roared, blazing with fury as he charged at Gagath. Gagath met the charge with a desperate shout, throwing a flurry of punches. But it was useless. With a single brutal blow, Balaam caved in the side of Gagath's torso. He followed with a relentless barrage of attacks, roaring, "I am the strongest in the ninth circle of hell." One final punch tore straight through Gagath's abdomen, ending the giant's life. In this endless war, it was believed that no absolute victor would ever emerge until he appeared. Moments after his valiant victory, Balaam was now a picture of utter misery. Bathed in a cold sweat, he trembled with fear, forced to his knees. Around him, all the other powerful demons were in the same position. A strange, oppressive silence fell over the Demon King's citadel. They were all kneeling before a figure seated on a grand throne. This was the Demon King, the true ruler of all demons, Park Suho. On the scorched earth of hell, the demon Balaam knelt, his voice filled with reverence. "Your Majesty, why do you wish to return? Here in hell you have already obtained everything." In response, he received only a terrifying silence. The Demon King's eyes flashed, and a single glance was enough to send a shiver of pure dread through every demon present. Balaam broke into a cold sweat as the king's voice echoed in his mind, carrying with it the chilling aura of his innate power, the authority of predation. Balaam's mind reeled in horror. He has absorbed the power and essence of every demon he ever faced. He was the one who brought about the fall of the 7 princes of hell. Those princes were once beings of immense power, equals in the hierarchy of hell, yet all had fallen before the king of myriad demons. The other demons trembled, whispering amongst themselves in a panic. "The king is angry. That fool Balaam, he's about to be devoured." When they were certain that even a high-ranking demon like Balaam was about to become the king's next meal. But the voice that spoke was not one of rage, but of profound weariness. "Everything. How can you say that?" Balaam flinched, keeping his head bowed low. "I have been trapped in this cursed place for 10,000 years. Park Suho lamented, his voice hollow. The same landscapes, the same cycle of slaughter day after day. He was so exhausted he could barely speak, his head sinking to his chest. Finally overcome with helpless frustration, he roared, "To truly have everything, I need to have that." This was the Demon King Park Suho, a being driven to the brink of madness by the monotony of hell. Hearing this, Balam's eyes lit up with a desperate idea. "Are you hungry, Your Majesty? If so, your humble servant has something to offer." He barked an order at his underlings. "Bring the meal." They scrambled to present a massive platter. Balam pointed to it with pride. "Though this is hardly enough for the king who has consumed legions, please accept this meager token from your lowly servants." With a flourish, he lifted the lid. Beneath it was the writhing, raw white flesh of a massive octopus-like creature. It was a grotesque sight, but Balam presented it with excitement. "This is the head of Folklore, the greatest power remaining in the underworld. Please devour it to your heart's content." At the sight of the disgusting thing, Park Suho snatched it and hurled it directly into Balam's face. "I wouldn't be caught dead eating that, you bastard," he cursed. The creature splattered across Balam's face. Stunned and confused, the demon could only stammer, My apologies." Staring at the slimy mess on the floor, Park Suho muttered, "I don't want to eat something so ugly and repulsive." He clenched his jaw. "I want—" His voice rose to a shout, his power flaring so intensely that the surrounding demons froze in terror. But the image in his mind was not one of conquest or power. It was a steaming, fragrant pot of stew. His voice became an almost pathetic plea. "I want to eat kimchi jjigae." The demons stared back in utter confusion. "Kimchi jjigae?" They repeated, murmuring amongst themselves. They had never heard of it, never seen it, and certainly never eaten it. Yet, eager to please, they began to roar with feigned enthusiasm, "Kimchi jjigae, the ultimate food desired by our voracious king." The first thing they thought of was a platter of raw, bloody flesh. "That's not it, you idiots." Park Suho snapped, his patience gone. Balam clasped his hands together with grim determination. "Your Majesty, what kind of head must we use to make it, or what manner of entrails? Just give the word and I will tear apart anything to satisfy you." The demons buzzed with violent enthusiasm, ready to commit any atrocity to please their king. The more they tried, the more Park Suho despaired, burying his face in his hands. "Kimchi jjigae isn't anything like that," he groaned. He had forgotten that demons had no concept of cuisine. They knew only how to devour the bodies of their defeated foes. Trying a different approach, Balam offered, "Perhaps you seek entertainment. I recall you took great pleasure in the slaughter of the 7 princes of hell." The other demons nodded in agreement, their eyes wide with admiration. As expected of the king of blood and slaughter, but their praise only made him more miserable. "No!" he yelled. "I want to read novels and manhwa." This was too much for Balam. Believing he had failed his king completely, he slammed his fists on the ground, his face contorted with grief. "Your Majesty, if my meager existence cannot satisfy you," he began to sob theatrically, "please kill me for my uselessness. Just listen to me for once." "She." Park Suho shouted over him, but Balam's wailing only grew louder. Sighing in defeat, Suho slumped on his throne, resting his chin on his hand. "If only I had a loved one." The words had barely left his lips when a sultry voice echoed through the hall. "A loved one? Am I not here for you?" A figure of stunning beauty appeared. It was Lilith, the queen of the succubi. The demons gasped in awe as she walked forward. "So beautiful. It's Lady Lilith." She had the body of a goddess, long legs, a voluptuous chest, and seductive lips. Placing a hand on her chest, she looked at Park Suho and bit her lip. "Your Majesty." But as she got closer, her face came into view, and it was a Lovecraftian nightmare. It was a writhing canvas of countless unblinking eyes. "Are you not satisfied with having Lilith's heart?" she cooed, tears welling in her many eyes. Park Suho froze, turning to stone on his throne. It was a miracle he didn't vomit. Mistaking his horrified paralysis for shyness, Lilith blushed and pressed on. "I would of course consent to spending the night with you." His face darkened. A barrier of raw power erupted around him as he shot up from his throne. "As your king, I command you," he roared, his eyes glowing with menace. "Do not take another step, or you will die." Her eyes, all of them, welled up with more tears. "Oh, you're so shy," she cried, her tentacles snaking out to wrap around his arm. "How can you call yourself the king of the 9 hells when you're this timid?" "Ah!" he screamed in revulsion, but the demons below watched with shimmering eyes, completely misreading the situation. "Oh my, the king is so shy. I'm so jealous." They were utterly captivated by the queen of succubi. She coiled around him, trying to pull him into a kiss as he desperately pushed her away. In his mind, a single thought surfaced compared to Lilith. Balam was actually quite cute, like a loyal pet. You couldn't judge a book by its cover. But Lilith's cover was a horror story he couldn't bear to look at for another second. This was the final straw. These experiences solidified his resolve. Clenching his fists, his eyes burning with determination, Park Suho made his decision. Earth. I must return to Earth. The demons fell silent, their jaws agape. Balaam and Lilith immediately fell to their knees, calling out his name. But after 10,000 years, his decision was as solid as bedrock. After devouring the last of the 7 princes, his preparations were finally complete. It was time to claim his reward. Park Suho rose decisively from his throne. His eyes fell upon his 2 most powerful subordinates. Balaam, he commanded, his voice deadly serious. Prepare it. Balaam looked up, his expression full of anguish. My king. He clearly did not want to obey. Suho's glare was like ice. Do you need me to repeat myself? The threat struck Balaam like a physical blow. He squeezed his eyes shut and bowed his head low. My apologies. I will prepare it at once. He turned and bellowed to the demons below. All of you, summon Amun. Prepare the instruments for the great ritual. Elsewhere, the demon Amun stood before a great altar, chanting in an arcane tongue as stone monoliths hummed with power. Soon, the ritual was ready. Your Majesty, Balaam reported, bowing low. The preparations are complete. Good, Suho replied curtly. Lilith followed behind him, her many eyes brimming with tears. Both demons trembled with emotion as they watched Park Suho remove his heavy, ornate demonic cloak and cast it to the ground. Shedding the last symbol of his infernal reign, he turned and began to walk up the steps toward the shimmering portal alone. Without a backward glance, Park Suho walked forward. The demon Amun appeared at his side. Your Majesty, if you pour a vast amount of demonic energy into the instrument of the great ritual, he explained, his eyes gleaming, you can bend the boundaries of space and time, forcing a dimensional rift to open. Good, Suho replied, his voice firm. Begin. As he walked between the lines of kneeling demons, a single thought consumed him. I'm finally going home. He stood at the center of the ritual circle and closed his eyes, feeling the power of the 100,000 demonic cores surging through him like a tidal wave. The massive orb of energy above the altar pulsed violently before exploding, unleashing a colossal multicolored pillar of light that shot into the void. Suho stood unfazed at its epicenter while every other demon was thrown back by the cataclysmic force. Such overwhelming demonic energy, Amun gasped, shielding his eyes. The power of the 100,000 cores. It's mesmerizing. The space before Suho began to fracture. Your Majesty, Amun shouted over the roar. All 7 fragments of the instrument are reacting. The gate is opening. Suho stared into the swirling vortex. Even if his family, his friends, and his lover were no longer there, it didn't matter. At least it's not this damned place, he thought, and with a final decisive declaration he said, I'm leaving. Behind him, Lilith let out a heart-wrenching sob. My king! Her cry made Suho pause for a brief moment. Balaam, sweating and helpless, looked on in sorrow. Are you really abandoning us? Suho hesitated, then continued his advance. Don't cry, he said, though internally he was pulling his collar up, repulsed. She's so terrifying. But Lilith completely misinterpreted his words. She blushed, her many eyes fluttering with delight. Oh, such gentle words just for me. Little Lilith's heart feels like it's going to explode with your love. Tears of joy streamed down her face along with other bodily fluids. Suho's face contorted with disgust. He was rendered speechless when she began to coo, Ah, little Lilith wants to come with you, my king. That was it. He leaped into the portal without a second thought. Hell no. Ah, Lilith shrieked as he vanished into the rift. My king. She ran towards the portal, screaming after him. I will follow you no matter what. Far away now, floating in the void between dimensions, Suho allowed himself a small, satisfied smile. He turned back towards the portal's fading light, raised his middle finger, and thought with glee, I have no intention of ever seeing you again. Farewell. 10,000 years. He had spent more than 10,000 years in hell. He didn't want to change the past or arrive in a specific future. He just wanted to see the Earth he once knew. He traveled through the void until a blue sphere came into view. Earth. His heart pounded with excitement. I'm really going back. But just then, arcs of red lightning erupted around the planet. A system window flashed before his eyes. Rift core detected. What is this? Suho asked, startled as a red grid materialized around him. System defense mechanism. Thorns of the Rift. Activated. He recoiled as the crimson net closed in. What's happening? What kind of situation is this? More alerts flooded his vision. Warning core energy exceeds dimensional limits. Activating multidimensional defense protocols. Red lasers shot across the void and Suho looked around in a panic. What the hell is going on? System overload. Things were spiraling out of control. A massive bolt of lightning struck him directly and he screamed in agony. System messages flashed relentlessly. Failure. Failure. Rift core cannot be fully purged. Sealing limit initiated. He gritted his teeth, veins bulging on his forehead as the lightning continued to assault him. His hand trembled as he raised it. Don't you dare! He growled, his eyes blazing with fury. "You bastard!" His vision went black as he lost consciousness. He didn't know how long had passed. A warm light on his face woke him. He was lying in a forest surrounded by lush green trees under a bright sky. He blinked, taking in the sunlight and the verdant scenery. Is this Earth? His entire body ached as he forced himself to sit up. First, I need to check my condition. A system window appeared. Initializing status window. He read the information and frowned. What is this? The screen displayed his level as level 1 with the class initial awakening stage. What? He exclaimed in disbelief. My powers. They've been sealed. Just then he heard a rustling sound nearby. He whipped his head around to see a horde of green-skinned monsters goblins charging toward him. What the hell are these things? There were dozens of them. He was certain that creatures like this had never existed on the Earth, he knew. His eyes lit up, his battle instincts taking over. First, I'll deal with them. But as he prepared to lunge, he froze. He tried to summon his power, but nothing happened. He clutched his chest in shock, feeling the demonic energy from the 100,000 cores reduced to a mere trickle. While he was still reeling, the goblins swarmed him. One latched onto his arm. In that split second, he had to make a choice. I'll have to use this. Clenching his fist, his eyes glowed a deep crimson. A surge of familiar power returned. This will have to do. He unleashed a single punch, sending the goblins flying. It was the authority of the demon. A single sharp wing sprouted from his shoulder, and his eyes glowed red with killing intent. A purple-skinned goblin leader, foolishly overconfident, charged at him with a sword. In a flash, a system message appeared. You have successfully slain an E-rank monster. And with every strike, another message popped up. After a frantic flurry of attacks, he had already reached level 4. Staring at the corpses littering the ground, he wondered, what kind of monsters are these, and what is this experience point nonsense? It was meaningless, but he could feel himself growing stronger. He held out his hand and chanted, Sunbow, unleashing his demonic power. The space around him warped. I tried to analyze their physiology, but I can't find any information about this world. Another notification appeared. +1 mana. His eyes went wide. What mana? He was stunned. Damn it. A power that should only exist in hell exists here too. The more he thought, the more Park Soo-ho's spirit sank into despair. He grit his teeth, veins pulsing on his temples. Could it be that this isn't Earth? He whispered, his voice trembling with frustration. No, that can't be right. The only reason I endured that hell for so long was for the chance to come back here. Just as he was about to be consumed by hopelessness, a scream tore through the desolate air. He quickly uncovered his ears to listen. A scream. It didn't sound like the monsters from before. Disbelieving, he turned his head. Another scream echoed through the trees, and this time he recognized it instantly. A person, a human. The thought ignited a fresh spark of hope within him. He took off at a blinding speed, his legs moving so fast they were a blur. 10,000 years, he thought as he ran. For 10,000 years, all I've seen are grotesque monsters with countless tentacles or 1,000 hideous arms. I don't care what this person looks like. They can be terrifying for all I care. Just, please have 2 eyes, a nose, and a mouth. Please be human. Please no tentacles. His desperation was a prayer. The memory of Lilith made him shudder. From a distance, he could see the silhouette. A young woman with purple hair was surrounded by a pack of goblins. I found her. Please. The closer he got, the more fervent his prayer became. Finally, he could see her clearly. 2 eyes. Check. A nose. Check. He scanned her beautiful form. His eyes widened in horrified relief. No tentacles. He was so overcome with joy that tears streamed down his face. He sprinted forward just as the goblins raised their clubs to strike. The monsters froze, startled by his sudden appearance. The woman who had been pushed against a tree shut her eyes, bracing for the final blow. When nothing came, she dared to peek. Before her stood Park Soo-ho, single-handedly obliterating the entire pack of monsters. When the last goblin fell, he turned and silently offered her his hand. She stared at him, bewildered, before hesitantly taking it. Thank you, she murmured. The moment their hands touched, an electric jolt shot through him. His eyes welled up with tears of pure elation. He felt as if he were floating on cloud 9, his body trembling uncontrollably. The girl's face flushed with a blush. Finally finding her voice, she looked him in the eye and said earnestly, Thank you for saving me. My name is Han So-young. She had introduced herself and was now standing, but Soo-ho remained frozen, still trembling. His strange behavior worried her. Are you okay? The moment she spoke, he seized her hand tightly, pulling her closer. Ugh! She yelped in surprise. The first words he spoke to her were, Marry me! His eyes were wide and shining with manic excitement. If he hadn't just saved her life, he would have looked like a complete lunatic. He pressed her hand against his chest. Let's get married. Huh, what? She stammered, her face turning crimson. It was only then that he snapped back to reality. I got a little too excited. He quickly let go of her hand. I'm sorry. My name is Park Soo-ho. You said you were Han So-young, right? He hastily changed the subject. "Are you all right? Are you injured?" She took a step back, still shaken. "Ah, yes. It's not a major injury." But then he saw a large bleeding gash on her knee. "You're bleeding," he exclaimed. The pain caused her to lose her balance and she stumbled into his arms. He caught her instinctively. "Are you okay?" As she fell, a phone dropped from her pocket. His eyes widened at the sight of the small glowing rectangle. "That shape. Is that a smartphone?" A wave of relief washed over him. "I'm really on Earth." He gently helped her sit against a tree. "Don't overdo it. Rest here for a bit while I treat your wound." "Thank you so much," she said, wincing in pain. "It's nothing," he replied cheerfully, his heart soaring. He could barely contain his joy. "We can communicate. I can talk to another human." As he carefully bandaged her wound, he thought back to his time in hell. "I banned the demonic language and forced them all to learn Korean just so I wouldn't forget my native tongue when I returned." He chuckled inwardly. That gave Balam and the others such a headache, but it was worth it. "I can finally use Korean with a human, not just demons." "There," he said, finishing the bandage. "If you keep it like this, it should heal fine." "Thank you for taking care of me," she said, touched by his kindness. He picked up her phone and handed it back to her. "Don't worry about it. Here's your phone." As she took it, the screen lit up, displaying the date 2023. 5 years. He thought, his mind reeling. It's been 5 years since I fell into hell. The reality of the time that had passed finally hit him. I was sure I calibrated the time correctly. So these monsters, they started appearing on Earth during those 5 years. He sat down beside her. "You shouldn't move too much right now. Let's rest for a while." "Okay," she agreed. He knew he was dangerously uninformed. He needed information, and she was his only source. "So, what were you doing in a place like this, so young?" She smiled sheepishly. "I ran into some trouble. I was hunting alone inside a gate." Her cheeks turned pink. "I just awakened as a player yesterday, and I foolishly tried to clear an E-rank gate by myself." Hunting player gate. These were all concepts that didn't exist 5 years ago. He kept his composure and asked, "What's your level?" "I'm level 6, she replied honestly. "Since I just awakened. But what is a high-level player like you doing here, Suho?" He broke into a cold sweat. "My level is probably even lower than hers." He deflected. "I ran into some trouble myself." They sat in silence for a moment, surrounded by the goblin corpses. As she was about to say, "I understand," their shoulders brushed. She flinched, her face immediately turning red as she fell silent, mortified. He, however, remained completely oblivious. Too embarrassed to sit still, she shot to her feet. "Well, shall we get going?" Confused, he looked up at her. "Your injury looks serious. Are you sure you'll be okay?" Her injured leg trembled, but she insisted, "Yes, I'm fine." Noticing her struggle, Suho immediately stood up to support her. With no sense of personal space, he wrapped one arm around her waist and took her hand, pulling her securely against his chest. "I'll help you," he announced, turning to face forward. The proximity made her face flush as red as a tomato. No, I shouldn't trouble you," she stammered. But he wouldn't let go. "Refusing help in a situation like this isn't a good idea. I'll escort you. Which way do we need to go?" Resigned, she pointed. "That way. Please, just help me get to the exit." "Of course," he said with a trustworthy smile. He thought to himself, "This is my first conversation with a human in 10,000 years. As he helped her walk, he reviewed his performance. Aside from my over-the-top reaction at the beginning, I haven't made any mistakes. She doesn't seem to suspect my true identity. Okay. At this rate, I'll be able to blend into human society just fine." At that moment, a shimmering gate materialized above them. Han So-young looked up, her face bright with relief. "We're at the exit. Suho." "Park." Suho stared up at it, his eyes wide with confusion. "This is a gate." It was massive, stretching from high in the sky down to the ground. He glanced back at the forest behind them. So moving through these spatial rifts means this place isn't truly Earth. He still couldn't be sure. "I don't see any device generating this rift. How can something so large sustain itself?" Han So-young gently pulled away from him. Suho, I think I'm feeling much better now. Let's get out of here." "Ah, yes," he replied, startled back to the present. Together they stepped into the gate. A brilliant flash of light made him shield his eyes. As his vision cleared, he looked around, curious to see where they had ended up. He froze, his eyes widening in utter astonishment. Before him was a bustling city street filled with people. A tall man was shouting into a megaphone. "We're recruiting for a goblin hunting party in an E-rank gate." Suho stared at him, 2 eyes. He looked over at 2 other men discussing something next to a machine. 1 nose. Then his gaze fell upon another group chatting and gesturing animatedly. 1 mouth. A wave of pure joy washed over him, and no tentacles. They were all completely, wonderfully normal humans. The modern skyscrapers, the crowded streets, everything was normal. There were no monsters here. Park Suho trembled, overcome with emotion, and placed a hand over his heart. This was it. This was everything he had yearned for. A tear rolled down his cheek as he choked back a sob. I'm back. Han So-young, now standing steadily on her own, stood quietly beside him. She bowed her head, her face flushed. Suho. He immediately turned to her. Yes. If you're okay with it. She began, too shy to meet his eyes. Would you like to have a meal with me at my home? This time it was Suho who turned as red as a boiled lobster. His heart skipped a beat. In that instant, she became infinitely more beautiful in his eyes. Not noticing his reaction, she continued, I'm so grateful, and I feel bad for troubling you. I'd like to repay you with a meal at the very least. He hung on her every word, feeling his heart flutter. This is it. This is my springtime. How could he possibly refuse such an alluring invitation from a beautiful girl? He struck his coolest pose. Ha ha, look. I already said refusing is not a good idea, so I guess I can't. Just as he was speaking, two men in protective gear approached them. You two wait a moment, they called out. Hello? We need to confirm your player licenses. Suho turned to them completely baffled. License? Of course he didn't have one. He didn't even know what it was. Please wait a moment, Han So-young said, rummaging through her pockets. Suho stood there awkwardly, a knot of anxiety tightening in his stomach. You, sir, one of the guards said, pointing at him. Your player license, please? Damn it, Suho cursed internally. He decided to act. Yes, of course. He pretended to search his pockets, thinking, this isn't going to work. I have no choice but to use that. He looked up, his eyes now glowing an ethereal, otherworldly blue. He focused on the guard in front of him, activating the authority of Dantalion, a power that allowed him to bend the perception of his target. He held up his middle finger, but the guard's mind, now under his control, saw a license. Yes, I've confirmed it, the guard said, his face a blank mask. Phew, it worked. Suho sighed in relief. He turned to So-young. Well, shall we go? Yes, she replied with a smile. The mesmerized guard stood frozen in place, only snapping out of it when his partner nudged him. Hey, wake up. Our shift is almost over. So-young led him to a tall apartment building. This is my home, she said. As they entered, she turned to him sheepishly. Our building doesn't have an elevator, so we'll have to take the stairs. That's fine, he replied cheerfully. The smell of an old apartment building, he thought with a smile. He followed her up the narrow staircase, touching the cool metal railing and looking at the dusty window panes. It's been so long. Everything felt so real. But what made him happiest, his cheeks flushing and his eyes shining, was the thought, of all the places on earth I'm at Miss So-young's home, a happy future is definitely about to begin. He was already imagining a house and kids. When they finally reached her door, he was practically vibrating with excitement. But just as he was about to burst with joy, she called out, Mom, I'm home. A woman's voice replied from inside, Oh, you're back. So young. His heart sank. Mom. The door opened and a middle-aged woman rushed out to embrace So-young. Oh, my darling daughter. Are you hurt? Did you go with a big group, like I told you to? Of course, Mom. So-young lied sheepishly. Her mother is here. Suho thought, his hopes deflating. Does she really just want to have a simple meal? Then So-young turned to him. Oh, I forgot. Mom, this is Park Suho. He saved me from danger today, so I invited him over for a meal. Suho quickly bowed politely. Hello? Oh my, her mother exclaimed. She grabbed his hands, her eyes welling with tears. Thank you. Thank you for saving my So-young. I don't know how I can ever repay you. Haha, it was nothing, he said, a little embarrassed. Please come in, she insisted, ushering him inside. It's not much, but I'll try to make something delicious. Thank you, he replied, still a little disappointed that he wouldn't be eating alone with So-young. But as he looked around the simple, cozy apartment, he remembered his life in hell and felt a profound sense of gratitude. So-young's mother called from the kitchen. So-young, sweetie, come help me cook. Okay, Mom, she replied, then took out her phone. Let me just change my clothes first. Oh, did you text me, Mom? I did. So-young, next time you go to a dangerous place, you need to contact me as soon as you get out. Heh, I'm sorry, Mom. Suho's eyes locked onto the phone. A phone I need to find a way to gather information about this new Earth. He put on his best acting face and approached So-young. Excuse me, Miss So-young. I'm sorry to ask, but could I possibly borrow your phone? I seem to have lost mine. Oh, of course. She agreed readily, handing it to him. Feel free to use it. The food will be ready soon. He took the phone, his cheeks flushing with excitement. Wow, the feeling of a finger on a screen. After 10,000 years, everything feels amazing. He sat down at the table, taking off his jacket. But this is no time to get distracted. I need information. He started with what he knew. I was dragged to hell 5 years ago. I should search for news articles from 2018. Quickly, an article popped up. The day of the cataclysm, December 22nd, 2018. The day that changed the world. The article described how monsters suddenly appeared from hundreds of gates, Conventional firepower was useless. Hundreds of thousands of soldiers were slaughtered. An emergency global alliance was formed, with South Korea being the 9th nation to join. The first player appeared in the United States. Soon, the number of players worldwide began to skyrocket. They were humanity's only hope. He continued to read until one detail caught his eye. December 22nd, 2018. That was the day he was taken. That's the day I was dragged to hell. He realized, his expression growing grim. He stroked his chin deep in thought. Was I pulled into one of the gates that appeared that day? He scrolled through more articles. One article isn't enough to be sure. Most of this is just speculation. I'll need to find more information later. Just then a voice called out his name, pulling him from his thoughts. The food's ready. At the call park. Suho quickly set the phone down. A pot was placed on the table and he beamed. Thank you so much. Then he froze. His eyes widened in disbelief as he stared at the pot. It was a bubbling, vibrant red-orange stew, exactly like the one he had dreamt of for 1,000 years. Bon appetit, Suho, Han So-young said with a smile. I hope you like it. He just sat there, mouth agape, staring at the stew. Kimchi. Jigai. His hand trembled as he picked up a spoon, his mind screaming with a single thought. Kimchi jigai. He carefully scooped up a piece of meat from the pot. Honey, let's eat, So-young's mother said. Yes, Mom, she replied. But then she noticed Suho muttering to himself, Kimchi. With the focus of a bomb disposal expert, Suho raised the spoon to his lips. The room fell silent. He took a bite, chewed once, and swallowed. Immediately, he plunged the spoon back in for another bite, then another, shoveling it into his mouth with a scoop of rice. He ate with a desperate, silent intensity, as if he hadn't eaten in, not 5 years, but 10,000. After I fell into hell, I had to devour demonic energy just to survive. I became a creature much like them. But my humanity, my taste buds remained. Nothing in hell could satisfy them. The demons I was forced to eat tasted like garbage. I thought I would go insane. He remembered the anguish, the humiliation of having to eat those grotesque creatures raw, crying as he did so just to stay alive. The only thing that kept me sane was a single wish to return to Earth. And now, tasting the rich, savory flavor of the kimchi jigai, the memories overwhelmed him. Tears streamed down his face. It's real. I'm really back. Suho, So-young asked, gently, startled by his tears. He continued to chew, tears flowing freely, unable to form words. So-young, he finally managed, his head bowed low. I'm so grateful. This is delicious. Thank you so much. So-young let out a sigh of relief, a slight blush on her cheeks. I should be the one thanking you. I'm sorry this is all I could offer to repay you, but I'm glad you like it this much. She smiled. Is it really that good? With his mouth full, his eyes still wet with tears, he nodded vigorously. Yes, I'm sorry, but could I have another bowl? She immediately stood up. Of course. Let me get you some more. Even her mother chuckled, delighted. It's wonderful to see you enjoy it so much. As they brought the entire pot to the table for him, he continued to eat with gusto. He was truly, utterly happy. Suddenly, a massive crash from behind them sent a shockwave through the apartment. A cloud of dust and debris exploded inward. Through it, a figure emerged. What the hell is this crap? A voice roared. This damn door is tough as nails. A blonde-haired man stood in the wreckage of their doorway. Hey, Han So-young! Get out here! He stomped into the room, getting right in her face. Who the hell gave you permission to enter a gate on your own, huh? His demeanor was aggressive and violent. So-young's face hardened, her eyes flashing with anger. Go! Away! She said, her body trembling with suppressed rage. What did you say? He snarled. I said get out! She finally screamed, her voice filled with loathing. Who do you think you are, barging into our home? Stay away from me! I'm warning you, I'm strong enough now. To her surprise, he bent over, clutching his stomach, and burst into laughter. Ha 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 ha! I'm strong enough now. That's adorable. His expression then turned menacing. He slammed his fist into the wall beside her. You worthless little player, you dare talk back to me. Who do you think you are? The wall crumbled under the force of the blow. So-young quickly shielded her mother. Stay away from us. The man Han Tae-hun sneered at them. Shh! A deadbeat dad and a dirt-poor mom. He directed his insults at her mother, who was pale and trembling with fear. That was the last straw for So-young. You bastard! She shrieked. We're in this mess because of you. He grabbed her arm, ignoring her shouts. Enough! You're coming with me to the Andres Guild right now. Let go of me! She screamed, digging her heels in. I'll never join that garbage guild. He stopped, a twisted smile spreading across his face. Garbage? How rude. I'll show you what good people we are. In a fit of desperate rage, So-young bit down hard on his hand, drawing blood. Without hesitation, he slapped her across the face. Ugh! She cried out, falling to the floor. Her mother rushed to her side. You little bitch! Tae-hun roared, clutching his bleeding hand. Do you think you can survive in this world by just being a good person? The world has been too kind to you." He loomed over them, a menacing shadow. "Now be a good girl and become my offering." Her mother threw herself in front of him. "Tae-hun, please, I'll work harder. Please don't do this to So-young." "Get out of the way, old woman," he spat, shoving her to the ground. "Useless trash." "Mom," So-young cried, rushing to her mother's side. Tae-hun stood over them, hands in his pockets. "I told her to get out of the way. You people are so annoying." His gaze fell on So-young's defiant, tear-streaked face. "What are you staring at, you bitch? I'm a rank 2 awakened now. You think you stand a chance?" He grabbed her by the jaw, his grip crushing. "The only thing you have going for you is that face. You're joining the Andres Guild." His tirade was interrupted by a loud, continuous slurping sound. He turned to see Park Soo-ho still sitting at the table, completely absorbed in finishing the last drops of the kimchi jjigae, utterly oblivious to the chaos around him. Tae-hun was momentarily stunned. "The hell!" He shoved So-young aside and stomped over to the table. "Hey, can't you read the room?" Soo-ho didn't even look up. Tae-hun felt utterly ignored. Enraged, he backed away, then rushed forward and kicked the table with all his might. "You son of a bitch!" The table flipped and the pot of kimchi jjigae went flying, its contents splattering across the floor in front of Park Soo-ho. The world went silent. Soo-ho's eating motion froze mid-air. He slowly lowered his spoon, his face darkening. A low, guttural growl escaped his lips, building into a furious roar. "Ah!" He fell to his knees beside the spilled stew, his world collapsing. Tae-hun stared at him, bewildered. "What's wrong with this psycho?" He nudged Soo-ho with his foot. "Hey, beggar, stop whining and get up." My kimchi jjigae," Soo-ho whimpered. Then he looked up. His eyes were burning with a terrifying, murderous rage. "You..." Tae-hun froze. The air around Soo-ho grew cold and dark. His voice was a deathly whisper. "You dared to spill my kimchi jjigae. Where did you find this beggar?" Han Tae-hun sneered, his disdain growing as he watched the pathetic display. He kicked at Park Soo-ho. "Stop your whining and get up." But Soo-ho just kept sobbing. My kimchi jjigae." Then he looked up. His eyes were burning with a terrifying, murderous rage. "You..." Tae-hun froze. The air around Soo-ho grew cold and dark. His voice was a deathly whisper. "You dared to spill my kimchi jjigae." In Tae-hun's eyes, Soo-ho was no longer human. He was a demon clawing its way up from the depths of hell. Tae-hun took a step back, his bravado vanishing. He summoned blue flames around his fists, trying to fight the primal fear Soo-ho radiated. "It's just an illusion," he told himself. "He's probably just gone crazy." Suddenly an arrow struck his arm. It did no damage, but it enraged him. "What the?" He saw Han So-young with a bow shouting, "Soo-ho, run!" But in that instant, a sharp obsidian blade materialized in Soo-ho's hand. He moved a blur of motion too fast to track. "Soo-ho!" So-young gasped. He was already in front of Tae-hun, his fist buried in the man's gut. Tae-hun stared down in disbelief. "He's fast." A second punch slammed into his side. He coughed up saliva, the wind knocked out of him. Before he could even utter a curse, a kick sent him flying into the wall. He scrambled to his feet, but Soo-ho was on him, a relentless storm of fists and feet. Tae-hun was powerless, able to do nothing but absorb the punishment. His teeth rattled. His face was a bloody mess, but he still managed to spit out, "You bastard!" He swung a wild punch, but Soo-ho ducked under it and delivered another brutal kick to his stomach. After a final devastating blow to the head, Tae-hun collapsed to the floor. Soo-ho planted his foot on the man's head, pinning him to the ground. "Who the hell are you?" he demanded, pressing down harder with each word. He stabbed his blade through Tae-hun's hand, but it wasn't enough. "This isn't over." Soo-ho snarled, his eyes glowing a malevolent red. "There are many more punishments waiting for you. For spilling my kimchi jjigae." Tae-hun coughed up blood. "Kimchi jjigae? You're doing all this over some stew?" The words were like fuel to a fire. Soo-ho grabbed him by the hair and slammed his head against the floor again and again. "Just kimchi jjigae." He let go and leaned in close. "When I count to 1, he whispered, his voice dangerously calm, "you will say, kimchi jjigae is. When I count to 2, you will say, a treasure from the heavens. Scream it, understand?" He counted. 1. Terrified, Tae-hun whimpered, "Kimchi jjigae is." Wham! Soo-ho punched his wounded hand. "Louder!" "Ah, 1! Tae-hun screamed. "Kimchi jjigae is. 2. A treasure from the heavens." "Wrong!" Soo-ho roared, smashing his head into the floor again. "Louder, like you're being gutted, like you're howling at a pretty girl walking by. Louder until your lungs explode." So-young watched in stunned silence, making no move to intervene. That bastard deserved every bit of this. Sobbing like a child, Tae-hun screamed at the top of his lungs, Kimchi Jjigae is a treasure from the heavens. His spirit was utterly broken, but Suho still wasn't satisfied. He lifted him by the collar, the air crackling with dark energy. Not good enough again, up the octave. Tae-hun, a mess of blood and tears, took a deep breath and shrieked with every fiber of his being. Kimchi Jjigae is a treasure from the heavens. He would never forget this day. He would probably never eat kimchi jjigae again. Finally, a laugh escaped Suho's lips. Ha ha ha. Good. He pulled the blade from Tae-hun's hand and stood up. Remember this, he said, his eyes still burning. Never ever disrespect kimchi jjigae. Later, the apartment was quiet again. Tae-hun, stripped to his underwear, was at the sink scrubbing dishes. Suho, now wearing Tae-hun's clothes and sipping coffee, was calmly scrolling through his phone. Damn it, Tae-hun thought, tears of humiliation streaming down his bruised face. Why me, all because of some kimchi jjigae? As if sensing his resentment, Suho slammed his coffee mug on the table. Tae-hun flinched and scrubbed harder. What is it? Suho asked without looking up. Angry that you got your ass kicked over a pot of stew. No, sir, Tae-hun stammered. To eat, to sleep, to live comfortably. You'll never know what a blessing it is. Suho said, his voice serious. So be grateful. Appreciate your life. Understood? Yes, sir. Understood. Tae-hun shouted, though inside he was plotting his revenge. Just you wait. Once I report you to Andras, you're finished. Hey, Suho called. When you're done with the dishes, come here. Tae-hun obediently walked over. I've been thinking about it, Suho began. But you don't seem to have any value that would justify letting you live. The world isn't a gentle place. He grabbed Tae-hun by the collar, his eyes glowing red. Don't worry, I'm not going to kill you. A horrifying demonic grin spread across his face. But maybe death would be better. He activated another authority. Tae-hun's world twisted, his perception shattering as he stared into the face of a three-eyed white-maned horse from his deepest nightmares. A giant spectral hand closed around him. No, please no, he shrieked as the nightmare dragged him down into the abyss. Don't come any closer. Don't. A giant, terrifying eye stared deep into Han Tae-hun's soul, and he could do nothing but tremble and repeat the word no, until it dissolved into a blood-curdling scream. To an outsider, it was an odd sight. Park Suho stood calmly with his hands in his pockets while Tae-hun writhed on the floor in agony. He had etched an indelible fear deep into his target's mind. Don't say a word about what happened here, Suho said coolly, flicking his finger. Now get lost. Like a puppet whose strings had been cut, Tae-hun stumbled to his feet, a dark stain spreading across his pants. He staggered out the door, muttering, Ha ha! No! Don't! Suho watched him go, a smirk on his face. Pathetic bastard. Han So-young had been silent throughout the ordeal. He saved me again. She thought, her heart filled with gratitude as she watched him. He was already back on his phone scrolling through the news. He's so handsome. Suho, however, was stressed. He ran a hand through his hair. I'm completely broke. I need money. After 10,000 years in hell, money was a foreign concept. Then his eyes lit up. He had found a trading website. Mana Stones. Miss So-young, he called out. She jumped, startled from her staring, and blushed. Yes. You probably have some mana stones, right? Could I take a look? Oh, of course, just a moment. She pulled a small blue gem from her pouch. Here, this is an E-rank mana stone from a goblin. He took the stone, feeling its texture. The article said the darker the color, the higher the rank. But I can't feel any demonic energy from this. He closed his eyes, concentrating. It definitely contains power, but it's not demonic energy. He remembered the sensation from before. It's not demonic energy. It's mana. It was a different kind of power. So, where did the demonic energy I felt earlier come from? He sighed, handing the stone back. It's beautiful. Thank you. He now had a plan. I need to sell these to make money. And to do that, Miss So-young is there, an awakened management office nearby. Not right here, but the closest one is next to Seoul Station. I was planning on heading there myself. Would you like to go together? You're going there too? He asked, surprised. She looked towards her mother, who was still unconscious on the bed. To be honest, my family's financial situation isn't great. That's why I risked entering the gate alone. A grateful smile touched her lips. I only realized how reckless I was when you showed up, Suho. So thank you again. Haha, it's nothing, he said, scratching his head. After looking at monsters for 10,000 years, I just wanted to help someone like you. Her eyes lit up with determination. That's why I'm going to study hard. My goal is to become a rank 2 awakened. An angel, he thought, smiling. You'll do great. But he thought privately, I don't plan on helping her. My priority is to regain my own strength. Shall we go then? With a newly issued ID card in his hand, Suho stood on the bus with So-young. He marveled at how easy it was to get a replacement. I thought for sure they would have listed me as a missing person, but no one had. He ran a thumb over his photo. Even after 5 years, no one. Before hell, he had always been alone, eating alone, playing alone. It was the same in hell, gnawing on demon corpses, always alone. Suho. So Young's soft voice pulled him from his thoughts. Look out the window. We're almost there. He looked out at the magnificent city skyline. It's beautiful, isn't it? She said. I love the view from here. Yeah, he admitted, a small smile on his face. It's amazing. They arrived at the player management office, a skyscraper that dwarfed even Incheon Airport. Here we are, So Young announced. The main headquarters. Wow, it's huge, Suho breathed. Oh, Suho, she said, handing him an old black smartphone. This is my old phone. There's Wi-Fi inside, so we can use this to talk later. Thank you, he said, his eyes shining. She really is an angel. I'm going to go register for the rookie lecture now. I'll call you later, she said before adding, I think I'll be done late, but let's have dinner together. Of course, he grinned. Yes. Inside the office was vast and bustling with advanced technology. A scanner prompted, please scan your ID for verification. He did so, and a ticket printed out. Verification complete. Your number is 18. Please follow the path to the examination room. A glowing line appeared on the floor guiding him. While he waited, he overheard 2 players chatting. My ranking is D rank. Wow, not bad. Think you can get A or B in your second awakening. They talked about legendary S-rank players and the 5 major guilds, but Suho paid them no mind. He was absorbed in his phone researching the top 5 guilds: Minerva, Red Bull, Hwarang Sicheong, and Hanun. I'll meet them all eventually after I recover my strength. Number 18, you may enter. The door slid open. A nurse guided him to a chair where a young woman in a white coat sat. You're Park Suho? She asked. Yes, he replied. Just place your hand on this crystal orb. As you add power to it, the orb will change color depending on your attribute's rank, the examiner explained. The higher your rank, the darker the color. Park Suho sighed inwardly, almost contemptuously. Being too powerful isn't always a good thing. What if I reveal too much? He placed his hand on the large crystal orb. Instantly, it erupted in a brilliant flash of light. He closed his eyes, channeling his power. Oh no, I think I overdid it. The light was blinding, but none of the examiners seemed surprised. As the light faded, Suho kept his eyes closed, anticipating a dramatic reaction. The woman's voice cut through the silence. Mr. Park Suho, you are an F-rank awakened. He froze, his eyes snapping open. He was petrified, unable to believe what he'd just heard. You can remove your hand now, she added. He felt like he'd turned to stone. Seated at the desk, the examiner explained the details. I'll go over a few things you need to be aware of. For D rank and lower. Suho stared at his reflection in the crystal orb. I understand my power is sealed, but all the way down to F rank. It was like starting over from scratch. First, she continued, you will receive an E rank player license, which will allow you to enter gates of a corresponding level. For higher level gates, you can only enter if escorted by a guardian. He was speechless. He thought of Balam. If Balam heard this, he would lose his mind. He could almost picture the demon's red face screaming in outrage. To go from the pinnacle of power to the absolute bottom, it was a bitter pill to swallow. But there was no other choice. He had to follow the rules of this world. What do I need to do to raise my rank? He asked. Meanwhile, Han So-young sat attentively in a classroom taking the very course the examiner was telling Suho about. If you complete the basic training course, you will immediately be promoted to D rank, the examiner said. The other method is to use a certain number of mana stones from your transactions to level up. This second method caught his interest. A good method, he thought, remembering the blue gem. He stood up. I understand. Please wait a moment while I prepare your license, the woman said, then asked, would you like me to help you register for the basic training course? That's fine, he replied curtly. She sighed, thinking, he must be in shock over his low rank. But at F rank, he's likely to die inside a gate. It's better for people like him to just give up on being a player. As she turned to leave, she didn't notice the crystal orb on the desk slowly darkening, shifting from clear to a deep pitch black. When she finally saw it, she gasped. Huh, why is the color? She picked up the solid black orb, confused. What's happening? Is it broken? She was certain his rank was F. Before she could even touch it again, the orb cracked and shattered into pieces. Ah! She yelped, jumping back. The orb had split in two, charred from the inside out. But she couldn't believe it was his power. Impossible. Even Park Ganghun in S rank only produced a dark gray color. She called reception. Hello, please send a replacement crystal orb. She dismissed the event, convinced that a black color couldn't possibly exist. Outside the gates, the area was a chaotic marketplace of players shouting and forming parties. Looking for a healer D rank or higher only? Any fighters available? A young man in black gear raised his hand eagerly. Thief looking for a party. No thieves, came the immediate blunt rejection. His confidence deflated. He tried again. I'm a thief, but was cut off before he could finish. Nope, we don't take thieves.
Suho watched the man's repeated rejections confused. Why does everyone hate thieves? Shrugging, he handed his own license to the gatekeeper. Not my problem anyway. E-rank player confirmed. You may pass.
He stepped through the gate and into another forest similar to the first one. It seems I made it through.
Every time he used one of these portals, a small part of him feared he'd end up back in hell. I really don't like teleportation, he muttered, stretching. Well, I guess I should start hunting. Just then, a massive figure approached him from behind.
Hey there. Suho arched his back to look up at the man who was built like a bear. Friend, the giant greeted him. A bear, Suho thought, surprised by his size. The man seemed friendly enough. Are you here alone? Yes, Suho replied coolly. You're hunting alone in a gate. Have you had your second awakening yet? I haven't, Suho started to say, just as two others, a woman with a staff and another man, joined the giant. Taesu, we're ready, the woman said. Oh my god, the giant. Taesu exclaimed, his eyes lighting up. It seems you haven't even taken the basic course. An E-ranker is much better off in a party than going solo. What do you think? If you haven't joined a party yet, you can try playing with our team? Suho forced a smile, unimpressed by the man's overbearing enthusiasm. Hey, Taesu, why are you making decisions on your own? His teammates protested. It's not like he'll be much help. Taesu whirled around, his face flushed with anger. Come on, guys. You know what kind of situation he's in. We'd be saving his life. If you're that worried about it, I won't take a share of his mana stones. Let's just add him to the party. Suho chuckled. He seems like a good person. Thanks for the offer, Suho interjected. But I'll be hunting alone. I don't need a team. Taesu clapped him on the shoulder. Now that they've agreed, let's introduce ourselves. My name is Kang Taesu. What's yours? Park Suho, he replied politely. Thank you for the offer, but I don't intend to join a party. Taesu just laughed. You can speak informally with me. I may look like this, but I'm only 24. Suho's eyes went wide. 24. With that face, he's got to be lying. Seeing his disbelief, Taesu proudly showed him his ID. Born in 99, Kang Taesu. His teammates looked on resigned. What the hell happened in the last 5 years? Suho thought, baffled. Well, then I'll speak comfortably, Suho said, his tone serious. Taesu, I appreciate the offer, but I came in here with a specific plan. Taesu relented. Well, if you're that determined, I can't stop you. But be careful. This area is inhabited by goblins, but among them is a much larger one. They call it the Goblin Father. It's a boss monster on a completely different level. If you see it, you must run at all costs. Suho smiled. He's a kind person. All right, thanks for the advice. As the three of them headed deeper into the forest, Taesu waved back. Take care. Suho waved back. If I were really a new F rank, I might have joined them. They don't seem like bad people. He cracked his knuckles. However, I'm better off alone. Staring into the vast forest, he began his hunt. Let's go. In a flash of light, he vanished. Deep within the trees, Park Suho spotted the tracks on the ground and the corpses scattered about. Goblin tracks he identified instantly. There are quite a few of them. They must be somewhere around here. As he predicted, he soon came upon a large goblin village. Found you. Without a moment's hesitation, he leaped into the thick of them, his eyes glowing a manic red. Here we go! He was a whirlwind of destruction, a one-man army tearing through the horde. The surviving goblins froze in terror, clutching their weapons. Suho grinned, relishing the fight. Let's dance! Every punch took down 2 goblins, every swing of his blade a blur of carnage. They were weak but numerous, and he fought with a relentless ferocity, using them as little more than training dummies. He didn't even need to use his demonic powers. His sharp blade was more than enough, slicing through them like he was playing a fruit-cutting game. Still more, he grumbled, annoyed. He had stumbled into their main nest. He let out a wicked laugh. Well, then let me send you all off. The battle was long and exhausting. Finally, it was over. Phew, that was a lot of them. He panted, sweat pouring down his face. The clearing before him was a gruesome carpet of monster corpses. A screen popped up. You have defeated E-rank monsters. Goblins. Experience points have been gained. He checked his status. It seems my mana increases when I level up. He crouched down and touched one of the goblin corpses. A black, shadowy aura enveloped him. I knew it. There's no demonic energy in the mana stones. Behind him, a massive fanged maw materialized in the air, his authority of predation. I can feel it. The source of demonic energy isn't in the mana stones. It's in their bodies. He could sense that the fresher the corpse, the more potent the energy. This means if I absorb the bodies of freshly killed monsters, I can slowly gather demonic energy. Mana +2. A devious smile spread across his face. Excellent. I can sell the mana stones and still gain demonic energy. In moments, the corpses were reduced to skeletons, leaving behind only the blue gems. All I have to do is collect the mana stones before I leave. He gathered the stones cheerfully, calculating, I wonder how many chickens I can buy with all of these. He chuckled. Come to think of it, I'm eating the meat and leaving the bones, just like with chicken. The thought of crispy, delicious fried chicken made his mouth water. I should definitely hit up a chicken joint when I get out of here. I'll even invite So Young. He was lost in a happy daydream when a loud thud shook the ground behind him. He turned to see a massive, hulking goblin stomping out of the forest. That must be what Tae-Soo was talking about. It was the Goblin Father. The beast was chewing on raw flesh, its eyes glowing. Suho stood his ground unafraid, but he was surprised to feel a significant amount of mana radiating from the creature. The Goblin Father raised its club, and Suho's eyes narrowed. It knows how to use magic. A small purple-black flame appeared in Suho's hand. When it came to destructive power, he knew his demonic energy was far superior to this creature's crude magic. The Goblin Father roared and slammed its club down. Suho leaped high into the air, dodging the devastating blow. He was forced onto the defensive, narrowly avoiding the monster's surprisingly swift attacks. A sudden swing sent him flying backward. He landed just as the monster charged, digging his heels in and bracing himself to block a massive overhead strike. The force of the blow was immense. The problem is the difference in physical strength. Gritting his teeth, he pushed back with all his might, creating an opening to slash the creature's side. The monster was smart. It used its arm bracers to block his next attack. Damn it, Suho cursed as he was knocked back. My stats are still too low. He needed to find a bigger weakness. The monster attacked relentlessly, and Suho weaved and dodged, his movements fluid and precise. He lured it toward a large tree, analyzing its movements. Its tough arms are its main weapon. As the monster swung, shattering the tree, Suho saw his chance. He wasn't just fighting a beast. He was a predator toying with his prey. You're just my entertainment, he taunted, throwing a nearby skull to distract it. As the monster's eyes followed the skull, Suho's entire demeanor changed. He unleashed his authority of demonic wrath. Behind him, a monstrous spectral image of a demon appeared. He slammed his hand onto the giant goblin's chest. It froze its mind, suddenly blank drool dripping from its mouth. A powerful energy coursed through it, causing it to thrash wildly in agony. It's over, Suho jeered. The goblin swung its club blindly, its movements now clumsy and uncontrolled. The authority of wrath amplified its power, but at the cost of its sanity. It was now just a mindless beast. Suho's eyes glowed red. An irrational monster's simple chaotic attacks are the easiest to deal with. He didn't need to aim for a vital spot. A single deep cut to its leg was enough to bring it to its knees. He followed with a relentless barrage of attacks until the giant creature finally collapsed, its blood spattering across the ground. You have cleared the monster territory alone. You will receive 150 experience points. You have gained 3 levels. You have unlocked your second awakening. All right, he cheered. The second awakening. He now had a special ability that allowed him to absorb even more demonic energy. He placed his hand on the Goblin Father's corpse, activating his predation authority. A much darker, more potent energy flowed into him. Insatiable hunger activated. You will absorb significantly more demonic energy. His mana stats shot up. Perfect. He could feel his power surging at least 3 times stronger than before. This rapid increase could be dangerous, he thought, as his mind was suddenly pulled into a crimson-hued space, his mana gate Marias. He could feel that the seal on it had weakened. Is it because of the awakening, he wondered? If it's true, then as I continue to level up, the seals will weaken, and I'll be able to regain my original power in this world. A wicked smile spread across his face. This gives me even more reason to take on high-level gates. He collected the boss's mana stone. Next stop, third awakening. Later, at a fast-food chicken restaurant, Suho and So-young sat across from each other. He was finally satisfying his 10,000-year craving, tearing into pieces of fried chicken and chugging down a cold beer. That's the stuff. Is it that good? So-young laughed. Yes, it's delicious. Better than my kimchi jjigae, she teased. He froze, genuinely conflicted. Finally, he declared, Even so, I liked your kimchi jjigae more. She giggled. I'm just kidding. You're funny, Suho. She placed a drumstick on his plate. Here, you can have mine. Are you sure? Thanks, he said, happily accepting it. Her tone then grew serious. Suho, if you don't mind me asking, do you have any friends or family? The question made him pause. He downed the rest of his beer and set the mug down with a thud. I don't. No friends, no family, not even a home. He looked away, a shadow of sadness in his eyes. I don't really have anywhere to go. The atmosphere grew somber. I don't know if this is okay, she began softly, but if you don't mind, would you like to stay at my house? He stared at her, stunned. Huh, are you sure? She nodded, her expression sincere. You don't know how much you've helped me in this short time. Don't worry about it. Wow. Well then, I'll accept your offer, he said, a genuine smile returning to his face. To our good fortune. Okay, she smiled back. As they continued to chat, he felt a warmth he hadn't experienced in millennia. Oh, one more thing,
he said, pulling a thick wad of cash from his pocket, about 3 million won. I have something for you. Huh, but why? She asked, surprised. He grinned. Consider it my rent. She blushed hastily, waving her hands. If that's the case, then I can't accept it. You've already helped me so much. But he wouldn't take no for an answer. You've had a lot of expenses recently. I know things have been tough. He pushed the money towards her. Don't feel pressured. If you don't like calling it rent, just think of it as grocery money. The stack of cash sat on the table. Who could say no to money? Hesitantly, she took it, her eyes sparkling. Thank you so much, Suho. He grinned. It's nothing. Then tomorrow, she declared, her eyes twinkling. I'll use better meat to make the kimchi jjigae. It will be even more delicious. This made him happier than the money. Really? He exclaimed. In his eyes, she had transformed into a true angel bearing a pot of kimchi jjigae. I knew it. So Young really is an angel. I'll sell mana stones to make money and make her happy. So Young, he asked, are there any D-rank gates nearby? There's one close by, she replied. I've never been, but I hear it's filled with lizardmen. Lizardmen, he thought, popping a piece of chicken into his mouth. I'll have to go there tomorrow. He looked at the last 2 pieces on his plate. I need to defeat stronger monsters, unlock my next awakening faster, and make more money. He ate the last pieces, a curious thought crossing his mind. I wonder if lizardmen taste any good. This room used to be my brother's, Han So-young explained, leading him into a clean, well-kept room. But you can use it however you like now. After a refreshing shower, Suho stepped into his new space. Thank you so much, So-young. He sat on the bed, a genuine smile on his face. Thanks to you, I'll be able to get a comfortable night's sleep. It's nothing, she replied, turning off the light for him. Good night, Suho. Good night, So-young. He lay back on the bed, stretching luxuriously. Ah. He stared at the ceiling, a profound sense of peace washing over him. This is the comfort I haven't felt in 10,000 years. Exhausted from the day, he closed his eyes and drifted into a deep, dreamless sleep. Coming back here was definitely the right decision. The next day, the area in front of the gate was just as chaotic. Looking for a healer who has completed their second awakening, recruiting players with C-rank abilities or higher. Amidst the crowd, Suho recognized a familiar, pathetic figure, the thief from the day before, now on his knees begging to join a party. Poor guy. Shaking his head, Suho handed his license to the gatekeeper. D-rank player confirmed. Not my problem. He stepped into a dark, gloomy forest, even more ominous than the last. He flexed his muscles. Should I move stealthily? He activated his authority of silence. His footsteps became completely soundless, and in a flash he vanished into the shadows. So-young said, Lizardmen are sensitive to sound but have poor eyesight. If you don't approach them silently, they'll swarm you immediately. He was now in the heart of their territory, surrounded by armored, hulking lizardmen. There you are. She had also mentioned their weakness. They're afraid of fire. Without hesitation, he unleashed the authority of hellfire. Infernal flames erupted, engulfing the creatures. They shrieked in agony, their attempts to douse the flames in a nearby river proving futile. You can't extinguish hellfire with ordinary water, he thought with a smirk. It burns your life force, not your physical body. In less than 5 minutes, the entire horde was reduced to charred husks. He began collecting the corpses. Come to think of it, Taehun's guild was called Andras, wasn't it? Just as he finished, another horde of lizardmen emerged from the trees. He just grinned, cracking his knuckles. Shall we go for another round? Hey you! A voice called out. A group of about 10 players approached him. Judging by your gear, you must be a rookie. Want to join our hunting guild? What guild? Suho asked, unimpressed. The leader puffed out his chest and pointed a thumb at himself. We're the Andras Guild. Speak of the devil. Suho's face remained a blank mask. He turned away. Not interested. The blatant disrespect infuriated the leader. What did you say? What an arrogant little brat. What should we do? Hojin, a woman next to him, asked. The guild master will be furious if we return empty-handed. Well then, Hojin sneered, his eyes filled with malice. Let's leave him half dead and dump his body somewhere. It's been a while since we got to relieve some stress. Let's teach this rookie a lesson about life. They had no idea who they were dealing with. Suho continued his one-man slaughter, a whirlwind of hellfire and predation. Seems like I've cleared out the entire vicinity, he mused, sighing. To level up faster, I guess I have to take some risks. Don't you remember? A mocking voice called from behind him. It was Hojun and his cronies. It's your seniors. We were just wondering how our little rookie was doing. Suho shot them a look of pure contempt, the kind of trash that preys on the weak. Your concern is unnecessary, he said coolly. As you can see, I'm doing just fine. Hojun's eyes narrowed. Is that so? Your clothes are spotless and there isn't a single corpse around you. I was just taking a little break, Suho replied with a shrug. Is that the kind of attitude you should have towards your seniors? Hojun finally snapped, dropping all pretense. What, you want to fight? Suho taunted back, a dangerous glint in his eye. One of Hojun's men drew his weapon, but Hojun stopped him. "Don't worry," he said, a cruel smile on his face. "I've thought of a good way to discipline this disrespectful punk." He drew a jagged sword. "Let's see how long you can keep up that attitude." The rest of the guild surrounded Suho, their faces dark with menace. "You know kid lizardmen are very sensitive to sound." Suho just laughed. "I was wondering what you guys were capable of. Is this really it?" Hojun's smile faltered. "What the hell are you talking about?" Suho's entire aura shifted. His eyes glowed red and a demonic grin spread across his face. "If you want to scare someone," he roared, his voice booming, "you should at least be able to do this." He clapped his hands together and a swirling vortex of energy erupted from the ground. He slammed his foot down, and the earth trembled with a thunderous shockwave, the authority of ultrasonics. "Hey, you crazy bastard, stop!" Hojun screamed, his face pale with terror. The ground cracked beneath Suho's feet. Then an eerie silence fell. "There," Suho said with a chilling smile. What the hell was that?" one of the guild members stammered. They were frozen in their defensive circle, knowing what was coming. The sound had attracted every lizard man in the area, including their monstrous lord. In moments, they were completely surrounded. "I've never seen so many lizard men at once," a woman cried. "Hold the barrier," Hojun commanded, then glared up at Suho, who was now perched comfortably on a high branch. "You crazy son of a bitch! Are you trying to get us all killed?" "What are you talking about?" Suho replied, his voice as cold as the grave. "I have no intention of dying here." He activated his authority of sonokinesis, a power to manipulate sound. "The only ones who are going to die are you." The lizard men, ignoring Suho, completely surged forward, their frenzied attack focused solely on the Andras Guild. A sound manipulation skill. Hojun realized too late. The barrier shattered. The woman next to him was the first to fall, impaled by a lizard man's spear. The slaughter had begun. As the barrier fell, one of the female guild members looked back at Hojun with dying eyes. He sat frozen on the ground, too terrified to even breathe as his comrades were torn apart before him. He was utterly helpless, his weapon slipping from his trembling grasp and clattering to the ground. The sound sealed his fate. The lizardmen turned their attention to him. "Save me," he sobbed, reaching a desperate hand towards Park Suho, who watched from his perch high above. Suho just crossed his arms, his face an emotionless mask. He had no intention of saving the man who had just tried to kill him. "Please, I was wrong. Please," Hojun begged. Suho simply smiled, raised a fist, and said, "Good luck." "You bastard!" Hojun screamed, but his words were cut short as a lizard man's spear pierced through his chest. He died in a storm of terror, anger, and regret. When the last of them was gone, Suho leaped down. A sadistic smile spread across his face, fighting evil with a greater evil. He raised his hand, and the authority of predation consumed the corpses of both humans and monsters. Mana +1. Predation cannot be used on this target. System G is providing protection. System G. The name sounded familiar. It seems players are protected by this system. He looked at the glowing blue mana stone lying next to Hojun's body. He could use predation on it, but he sighed and decided against it. "My own mana is what's most important right now." Mana has reached 30. He felt a surge of power. It wasn't just the quantity of his mana that had increased. The quality was on a different level. A vibrant red flame erupted from his hand, far more powerful than before. Just one more level up, he thought, picking up the mana stone. The third awakening isn't far off. 3 days later, Suho sat at the dining table, happily slurping down the last of his kimchi jjigae. "It's as delicious as always. So Young." Han So Young smiled. "Thank you, Suho. Are you heading to a gate again today?" "Yep, I should be back by dinner," he replied cheerfully. "Aren't you pushing yourself too hard? You haven't taken a break in days," she said, her voice filled with concern as she poured him a cup of hot tea. "Ha ha ha, I'm fine." He took the cup. "When does your class end?" "I think I'll be done in a few more days. Starting today, we're going to be hunting goblins to level up," she said, a hint of worry in her voice. "I don't know if I'll do well, but I want to get my second awakening soon too." "I'm sure you will," he reassured her. Her smile returned as bright as a flower, an angel, he thought, for the 100th time. "Oh, I almost forgot," she exclaimed. "I heard a rumor about the gate you're going to. They say there's a high ranker lurking around pretending to be weak and attacking other players. It might just be a rumor, but please be careful, Suho." Her words stuck with him. A high ranker in disguise. Could it have started from that Andras bastard? He had made sure there were no witnesses. The guild members had all been killed by the lizard men. If the rumor is about me, then I have nothing to worry about, but I should still be prepared. At that moment, a notification appeared. "You have reached level 20. The third awakening has been activated." He felt his magic surge to an entirely new level. Let's see. He conjured a fireball and a massive blazing orb appeared before him. Just as I thought. With each awakening, the seal on my mana gate weakens and more of my original demonic power flows out. Deep within the ethereal jaws of his predation demon, a mana stone glowed, a black streak running through its core.
It's almost as valuable as a monster's soul itself. With this, I can double my absorption speed. He spent some more time in the forest testing his new abilities. Using the authority of the sky, he soared high above the trees. I still haven't met the lizardmen boss yet. I'd like to absorb a higher quality monostone. Suddenly he heard voices below. Hey, what are you doing? He recognized the voice immediately. It was Tae-Soo. He was standing protectively in front of another player, confronting two others. Why? Tae-Soo roared, his body covered in wounds. Why did you attack my party member? Suho recognized the injured player on the ground. Isn't that the guy who was always looking for a party? So Tae-Soo had taken him in. The two attackers, a man with green hair and another with red, sneered. He's just a weakling. He was slowing us down. So the rumors were true. Suho thought, relieved it wasn't about him. These must be the player killers. Shut up and do as we say, the red-haired man shouted, lunging at Tae-Soo. Tae-Soo blocked the attack with his shield, but he was clearly outmatched. The final confrontation was brutal, but what happened next was inevitable. When Suho finally revealed himself, it was not as a savior, but as a judge. The player killers, arrogant and cruel, had no idea they had just sealed their own fates. Back at the chicken restaurant, the atmosphere was light and joyful. More delicious than my kimchi jjigae, So-young teased again, a playful glint in her eyes. Suho paused, considered it seriously, and then declared with unwavering conviction, Even so, I like your kimchi jjigae more. She laughed, a sound that was music to his ears. I'm just kidding. You're so funny, Suho. Later her expression softened. Suho, do you have any friends or family? The question hung in the air. He downed his beer in one go. I don't, he said, his voice quiet. No friends, no family, not even a home. A gentle understanding filled her eyes. Well, if you don't mind, would you like to stay at my house? He was stunned into silence. They had only known each other for a day. She looked at him with sincere gratitude. You don't know how much you've helped me. Wow, he breathed. Then, I'll accept your offer. He took the fork she offered him. To our good fortune. Okay, she replied, her own smile reflecting the hope in his. The awkwardness between them was gone. Oh, one more thing, he said, pulling out the stack of cash again. I have something for you. Huh, but why? He grinned. Consider it my rent. And so the Demon King of Hell, after 10,000 years of solitude and slaughter, finally found a home. Not in a castle of bones and brimstone, but in a small apartment with an angel who cooked him kimchi jjigae. His journey was far from over, but for the first time in a very, very long time, he was not alone. He's really a rank 2 awakened. How is he so strong? Tae-Soo gritted his teeth, planting his shield firmly into the ground. A bright light emanated from it as he channeled his power. I won't go down as easily as you think, he roared, ready to fight to the death. The two attackers, Gang Jianho and Seo Tae-shik, closed in. He must have a high-rank attribute, Jianho mused. Even so, Tae-shik sneered. Someone who hasn't even had their third awakening has no chance against us. He licked his jagged blade, his eyes filled with malice. Now let's end this. Remember, we're not allowed to kill him, Jianho reminded him. Of course, Tae-shik laughed. From the bushes, Park Suho watched, intrigued. They can't kill him. What does that mean? He had only come over out of curiosity, but now he hesitated. Tae-Soo was a good person who had offered him help without a second thought. Should I help him? Brace yourself, Tae-shik sneered at Tae-Soo. This is going to hurt. And just as he was about to strike, Suho's eyes widened. Wait a minute. In a blur of motion, he appeared between them, his gaze fixed on the demonic energy swirling around Tae-shik's weapon. What the? Tae-shik started, stunned. Demonic energy, Suho thought, his mind racing. How do these guys have it? Who the hell are you? Tae-shik snarled. Just some random passerby? This bastard's unlucky, Jianho chuckled. Once you've seen our faces, you can't leave here alive. Tae-Soo's eyes widened in horror. Mr. Suho. Ignoring Tae-Soo, the attackers plotted. Our quota is already full with those two. No reason to keep this one alive, right? Run, Mr. Suho, Tae-Soo yelled. Tae-shik lunged his axe, aimed at Suho's head. Time to die. But Suho didn't even flinch. With a single contemptuous backhand slap, he sent Tae-shik flying. The man landed in a heap, dazed and confused. What did you do? Jianho yelled, disbelieving. Before Tae-shik could even get up, Suho was behind him, delivering another slap that nearly sent his head spinning. Mr. Suho! Tae-Soo stammered, his shield held limply at his side. He was watching in utter shock. You bastard! Jianho screamed, charging forward. Suho simply turned his cold gaze on him and unleashed the authority of the black hole, a blast of pure destructive energy that sent Jianho flying into a tree. He collapsed unconscious. Suho walked over to the whimpering Tae-shik and yanked him up by the hair. Let me ask you a question. His eyes glowed a dangerous red. Where did you get that demonic energy?
You bastard. How do you know about... Before he could finish, Suho smashed his face into the ground. I'm the one asking the questions, Suho said, his voice dangerously calm. Answer me. He lifted the man's bloody head again. Where did you get it? I can't say. Taeshik groaned.
You don't want to say. Suho corrected, his grip tightening. He unleashed the authority of fear, and the three-eyed nightmare horse appeared in Taeshik's mind. The man's resistance shattered. Ah! The Guildmaster! He shrieked. The Guildmaster! The Guildmaster gave it to us! Silence! Qianho, who had regained consciousness, roared from across the clearing. Suho's head snapped towards him, a vortex of green energy swirling around him. Stay out of this! A single blast of power sent Qianho sprawling again. He turned back to Taeshik. The Guildmaster of what? Andras. The Andras Guild. Taeshik sobbed. Our Guildmaster performs a ritual and gives us this power. A ritual? What kind of ritual? Taeshik's body began to convulse violently. He couldn't say it. A device inside him designed to prevent betrayal had activated. His eyes rolled back, and with a final gurgle of blood, he died. Suho stared at the corpse, his teeth clenched in frustration. Excuse me, Taesu said hesitantly from behind him. Are you Mr. Park Suho? Yes, Suho replied. Just then, the other player, the young thief, regained consciousness. What happened? I knew it, Taesu exclaimed. It's the Mr. Suho I met before. He introduced Suho to the thief. This is the player who saved us. He then looked at Suho, confused. But I thought you were in an E-rank gate. I was there to take care of some business. Suho lied smoothly. Oh, so you're not a rookie? Taesu beamed, completely buying it. Anyway, thank you. If it weren't for you, we would have died at the hands of those bastards. Ha ha. Suho managed a weak laugh. Taesu's boundless energy was almost overwhelming. I want to thank you too, the young thief mumbled, blushing. I can't believe we met again like this. Taesu continued. And you're a high-ranking player too. I'll definitely repay this favor. He pulled out his phone. Those Andras bastards have a terrible reputation. I have to report this immediately. The Hwarang Corps needs to know about this. The Hwarang Corps? Suho asked. They're a group of players managed by the government. If I report that Andras is using players with demonic energy, they'll launch an investigation right away. Interesting, Suho thought. But then he had a better idea. Taesu, he said, stopping him. Don't report what happened here. Not yet. Huh. But why? Suho crossed his arms, his expression unreadable. The Andras Guild. I will deal with them myself. Taesu was stunned silent. If he hadn't just witnessed Suho's power firsthand, he would have thought the man was insane. But he had seen it. If that is what you request, then I understand. What happened next, Suho did not expect. Taesu dropped to one knee. I Kang Taesu, he declared, his eyes burning with conviction. Pledge my loyalty to you. I will aid you on your journey to make the Andras Guild pay for their crimes. Suho was completely flabbergasted. What? We will punish them for their evil deeds. Taesu vowed, completely oblivious to Suho's confusion. What is he even talking about? Suho thought, bewildered, as his very first subordinate, whether he wanted one or not, pledged his undying allegiance. His quest for a quiet life was officially over. He kept talking, completely lost in his own world. That kind of heroism? It's like something out of a movie. I love it. I love movies too. Park Suho couldn't get a word in edgewise. This isn't right at all, he thought, exasperated. Then Taesu slammed his fist on the ground. I, Kang Taesu, have been humbled by your heroism. In the sun-dappled forest, he knelt before Suho as if before a god, his head bowed in reverence. I must repay you. I want to join you on your journey and repay my debt along the way. Suho was speechless, sweat dripping down his face. What is happening? The man's zealous loyalty was eerily familiar. He was just like Balam. The resemblance was uncanny. At that moment, the young thief also bowed deeply. I want to thank you as well. I know I'm just a dakbong right now, but I swear I'll find a way to repay you. A dakbong? Suho asked, confused. It means shut up and get bandaged. The thief explained, his eyes welling up with tears of self-pity. Thieves are known for not being able to take a hit. The term was created because no one would let us join their parties. This is our fate. Suho felt a pang of sympathy. So that's what it means. No wonder no one would take him. Taesu clapped a reassuring hand on the thief's shoulder. If you want to repay him, why don't we form a party right now? For whose benefit? Suho thought, exasperated. The thief, filled with a newfound determination, beat his chest. I'm grateful, but I can't do anything right now. I was defeated and became a burden. I want to become stronger so I can be of use to you both. I'll see you again. With a final deep bow, he turned to leave. "What a noble attitude," Taesu exclaimed. "The courage to train harder to repay others. It's truly admirable." "These guys are insane," Suho thought, waving awkwardly as the thief departed. "Well, it's good to have someone indebted to me, I guess. But what do I do with this guy?" He turned to Taesu. "Taesu, what's your level?" "I'm level 12. I just had my second awakening not long ago." "What was your initial skill rank?" "My first awakening was C rank, so I leveled up by hunting," Taesu replied proudly. "My second awakening skill is A rank." A rank. Suho was impressed. "This guy has more potential than I thought. Then why not join a guild? You could get into any guild you want." "I was wondering which one to join," Taesu admitted. "But now I don't need to. The manly Kang Taesu has decided to follow you, Suho." He gave a hearty laugh and a thumbs up. He's just like Balam, Suho thought, with a mixture of amusement and dread. But he saw the potential. A player who gets a high rank in their second awakening is likely to have powerful skills in their third and fourth. Come to think of it, So Young will have her second awakening soon too. "All right," Suho decided. "From now on, I'll take you in." "Woohoo!" Taesu cheered. "Thank you, Suho. Let's exchange numbers. If you ever need my help, I'll be there in a flash." They exchanged contact information. "Actually, there is something I need you to do." "Just say the word," Taesu said, leaning in with sparkling eyes. "Get back, you're making me tired." Suho sighed. "In a few days, an acquaintance of mine will complete her basic training. I want you to form a party with her and level up together." "May I ask what her class is?" "She's a healer." "Then I'd be happy to." Taesu grinned. "It's easy to find damage dealers, so I'll try to build a strong team." "Good. I'll contact you later." As Suho turned to leave, Taesu asked, "Are you going to the Andras Guild now?" Suho grunted. He glanced over at Chionho's body, which was slumped against a tree. The man's eyes fluttered open. "You're awake?" Suho asked, grabbing him by the collar. "I have some questions for you. It would be best not to lie." He pressed a finger to the man's neck. "Nod, if you understand." Chionho nodded frantically. "What's your name?" "Ji Gang Chionho." "A little while ago," Suho said, his voice cold, "you said you needed to capture players alive and bring them back. Why? I don't remember." A fist slammed into his face, followed by a gut punch. Suho yanked him up by the hair. "How about now? Do you remember? It's to offer them as a sacrifice," he blurted out. "Sacrifice?" Suho thought, disgusted. "There are more lunatics in this world than I thought." He smirked, an idea forming in his mind. He leaned in close to the terrified Chionho. "I have a little favor to ask of you." In a dark alley lit only by the faint glow of neon signs, a battered Chionho dragged a large suitcase. A figure with long white hair stepped out of the shadows, shining a flashlight in his face. "Your gang, Chionho." "You and Taeshik went to hunt for sacrifices. Why did it take you so long?" "Your face." "What happened? Where's Taeshik?" "Taeshik is dead." Chionho stammered, his face a mask of fear. "Just take the sacrifice and let me go." "Dead. In a D-rank dungeon. You expect me to believe that?" "It's true. There was a high-ranking player. It's a long story. Taeshik and I barely managed to take him down." He pushed the suitcase forward. "I brought the bastard here as a sacrifice. He's still breathing." The white-haired man opened the case. Inside, a bruised and unconscious Park Suho lay curled up. He's not in bad shape. But you're acting strange." "Taeshik's death. It's complicated," Chionho mumbled. "Complicated? The fewer people, the better," the man sneered. "Now that Taeshik is dead, his share of the divine power will go to you. Did you kill him yourself, you greedy bastard?" "Shut up," Chionho snapped. "Just take the sacrifice and do what you want. I'm leaving." He turned and fled, leaving the man puzzled. Deep within the Andras Guild's hidden sanctuary, black-robed figures bowed in reverence. The white-haired man entered. "Guildmaster," he said, "I have returned." "You're late," the Guildmaster's voice boomed. "We were delayed by a high-ranking player. Seo Taeshik died in the line of duty." "And the sacrifice?" "Right here." He presented the suitcase. "Bring it here, quickly. We don't have much time." The suitcase was opened and Park Suho was carried to a stone altar. The cultists began to chant. "Immortal and eternal, the great Andras. The curse of the great Andras. The power of the great Andras." The Guildmaster watched with satisfaction. Everything is going according to plan. "Grant us your divine power," the cultists roared. As Park Suho lay upon the altar, a faint, almost imperceptible smile touched his lips. The hunters had just delivered the prey directly into the heart of the lion's den. Their ritual was about to begin, but it would not be the one they expected. It would be a ritual of slaughter presided over by the one true king of demons. "O great Andras, grant us your power," the Guildmaster sneered. "Of course they all crave power, and with demonic energy I can satisfy that hunger." The deluded cultists chanted on.
The power to rule the world, O great god of flame. Removing his mask to reveal a grotesque face. His eyes shot with blood-red veins, the guildmaster announced, "Now let the ritual begin." He ordered his followers to prepare the mana stones. As one of them opened a chest filled with gleaming gems, the master watched with a twisted smile. The more they desire it, the more my body, my heart, and my power will become demonic. Soon, I will become a true demon. Whose turn is it to receive the blessing today? He asked. It was supposed to be Gang Chun-ho, but he has refused to participate, a follower reported. Is that so? The master slammed his staff down. Silence. If you wish to receive my blessing, bring the sacrifice and the mana stones here. Those who do not work do not deserve it. He raised his staff again. Without my guidance, you would not even have this chance. Therefore, this unclaimed sacrifice belongs to me. He shattered the mana stones and a ritual circle materialized on the altar where Park Suho lay. A fissure in reality opened above them, leaking a torrent of raw demonic energy. The guildmaster basked in it, his eyes rolling back in ecstasy. This magnificent power, but he knew it was too dangerous to absorb directly. But if I let this sacrifice absorb the energy until it dies, and then consume its blood, I can absorb the purest form of demonic energy. He channeled the torrent of energy into Suho's body. This will consume you and take your life, he cackled. To his surprise, Suho was withstanding it. Oh, he's holding up quite well. Is his awakening A rank or something? The longer he held out, the more power he would absorb. 5 times. No, 10 times. 15 times the normal amount. This sacrifice is unbelievably powerful. 20 times, 30, 40, 50. The energy kept flowing endlessly. The master's elation turned to panic. Wait, stop, I said. Stop! But it was too late. The process was complete. All the power he had painstakingly gathered was gone, absorbed by the sacrifice. He collapsed to the ground in despair. No, it can't be. On the altar, Park Suho sat up. Wow, my stats just shot up by 20 points. What? How? The master stammered. Suho turned to him with a friendly, almost innocent smile. Hey, this ritual. Could you do it for me one more time? The guildmaster snapped. You bastard! He launched a fireball at Suho, who dodged it with effortless grace. Not bad, Suho commented, as the fireball exploded against the altar. The master unleashed a volley of fireballs, but Suho, now clad in a suit of demonic armor, thanks to his authority of the Iron Wall, was completely unharmed. Having demonic power is pretty convenient, he remarked. What are you standing there for? Attack him! The master shrieked at his followers. They charged, but Suho dispatched them with contemptuous ease, his arm blade a blur of motion. The flames of hell! The master Jodongjin roared, conjuring his own flames. I don't know how you can use demonic energy, but you'll never defeat my... He froze. Before him, Suho had conjured a fireball 100 times larger than his own. Jodongjin's bravado evaporated, replaced by pure terror. What? What is that? No, this is impossible. He extinguished his own flames and dropped to his knees. Oh, it is the true form of the great Andras, he wailed. I have been waiting for your descent for so long. You are our king, our god, our salvation. The other cultists stared in confusion. Should I play along? Suho thought. He let out a booming laugh. Kuhaha. So you finally recognize me. I am the great Andras you spoke of, the king of flame, the lord of hell, and the sovereign of myriad demons. All hail the sovereign of myriad demons. I greet the great king of flame. Jodongjin sobbed, prostrating himself. Good, Suho commanded. Tell your underlings to leave. I wish to speak with you alone. Seated on the altar, Suho looked down at the groveling man. What is your name? I am Jodongjin. All right, Jodongjin. I have some questions for you. He leaned forward. Let's stop this charade. You know I'm not Andras. Jodongjin's eyes widened in fear. Then who are you? Suho grabbed him by the collar. You are not to ask questions. You are only to answer them. Understand? Jodongjin nodded frantically. How did you do this? How did you learn to create a rift with mana from mana stones? I learned it after I heard the sermon. Sermon? Yes. One day a man in a demon mask approached me. He said I could achieve eternal life if I followed the demonic cult. Suho slammed him to the ground. You fool. How could you believe a stranger like that? He was too strong, Jodongjin cried. He overwhelmed my entire guild in an instant and gave us a choice, follow him or die. We had no other option. Where is this masked bastard now? I don't know, I haven't seen him since that day. We receive our orders through letters. Suho sighed. This was getting complicated. The demonic cult. They're not a recognized faction, but they know how to drive people insane. They can't be underestimated. The letters containing the orders. Give them to me. Jodongjin handed him a single letter. Suho opened it. It read, accept the demonic power and become a demon.
Recruit as many players as possible. He fell silent for a long moment, staring at the words. Then he looked at Zhou Dongjin, a final question on his lips. Were you the only one who received the sermon? Zhou Dongjin shook his head. I'm not sure. I haven't met any others. He can't be the only one, Park Suho thought. Unless they're complete fools, they wouldn't bet their entire plan on a single pawn like Zhou Dongjin. He grabbed the man by the collar. Those bastards. They dare to turn this place into another hell. He stared into Zhou Dongjin's terrified eyes. I'm going to tell you 3 things. Listen carefully. First, investigate the demonic cult. Second, never perform this ritual again. And third, he said, his voice a low growl, keep what happened between us a secret. Remember that. Yes, I understand. Zhou Dongjin sobbed, a pathetic mess of tears and snot. Now get out of my sight. As the man scrambled away, Suho pondered his next move. Even if I stop this, the trouble caused by the Andras Guild is already a headache. The government must be watching them closely. They'll start investigating the demonic cult's activities, and that could lead them to me. He snapped Zhou Dongjin's staff in two. But it's worth investigating these guys. I use the authority of fear, so no information should leak out. Once they achieve their goal, I'll withdraw. He let out a long sigh. Today was more tiring than I thought. Time to rest. He returned home, a bright smile on his face. So Young, I'm back. Suho, she cried out, her voice laced with worry. That's what I should be asking you. You were in the gate for so long and you didn't contact me. You didn't even answer your phone. He checked his phone and saw 22 missed calls from her. Oh, geez, he said, scratching his head sheepishly. I'm sorry. Something unexpected came up, but I'm fine. She let out a breath of relief. I was so worried something bad had happened. Thank you for worrying about me, he said gently. I promise I'll contact you next time. She blushed. I'll be waiting. Now that you're back, I should start dinner. Before he could say anything, she guessed kimchi jjigae. His face lit up like he'd won the lottery. Of course. I knew it. I've already got it simmering with pork, she said with a cheerful smile. He clasped his hands together, moved to tears. You cook me a delicious meal every night. Thank you so much. It's nothing, she said, tying on her apron. Actually, I had my second awakening while hunting today. It's my turn to repay you. What? You had your second awakening? She puffed out her chest with pride. Heh. Listen up, Suho. It's B rank, and I got a special ability called Blessing of Light. Whoa! He clapped, genuinely impressed. With her high-rank healing ability and Taesu's A-rank skill, they'll make an amazing team. They'll be much stronger than other parties. Has any guild scouted you yet? Lots, she replied happily. So which one are you planning to join? Actually, she said softly. I don't intend to join any guild. I want to help you, Suho. An angel, he thought, his heart swelling. But he had to be practical. So Young, while it's true you've awakened with a high-rank ability, I don't think you should join me. She stopped stirring the pot, her shoulders slumping. To be blunt, you wouldn't be much help to me right now. Her face fell. I see. It might be possible later, but not now, he thought. I'm much stronger than others at my level. If I form a party now, I won't be able to gain as much experience or challenge myself in big fights. I know a tank with an A-rank ability, he told her. I think you should team up with him for now and level up while gaining combat experience. That's what's most important for you. Her cheerful expression returned. Okay, I'll party up with the tank you mentioned. You both have high-rank abilities, so you'll be able to level up quickly, he encouraged. Yes, I'll level up as fast as I can to join you, Suho. It won't be long, he promised. Until then, I'll support you whenever you need. Thank you, Suho, she said, touched. That's right, he thought, propping his chin on his hand. This is an investment. As the aroma of kimchi jjigae filled the air, he grabbed his chopsticks. Thank you for the meal. Oh, wait, So Yang said, lifting the lid of the pot. Let's eat it with this today. She dropped a block of instant ramen noodles into the stew. The kimchi jjigae with ramen noodles practically glowed. It was a holy sight. As he reached for his chopsticks, his resolve hardened. Demonic cult. I don't know who you are, but I will protect this world and my ramen, and save this world with my kimchi jjigae, no matter what. The next morning, at the Player Support Center, your C-rank player license will be sent tomorrow. Can't I get it today? Suho asked. No, sir, the staff member replied. From C-rank onwards, a magic identification stone must be added to the card so it cannot be issued immediately. Suho sighed in frustration. So Yang said it would take a day, but it's still inconvenient. I haven't had a single day off since I got back to Earth. I'm exhausted. He decided to take a break. But what to do? He pulled out his phone. Before hell, he didn't have much money and killed time by reading webtoons online. He put his phone away. I'm going to do things differently. I fought for 10,000 years to come back to Earth. I have to enjoy it. His eyes landed on a PC bang. Inside, he marveled at the space. Wow, a cyber cafe. This chair is so comfortable. He looked at the food menu. What's this? You can order food too. Is this heaven? He ordered ramen, remembering the saying that PC Bang Ramen is the best. Then he turned to the games. I should play the most famous one. He launched a game, a 5-man team with different roles, almost like real life. My role will be the assassin who finishes off enemies in a flash, or maybe the game breaker. He hovered his mouse over a small furry creature. All right, I choose you, Teemo. Welcome to League of Legends. Oh, so this is how you play. I get gold when I kill minions. He saw another player nearby. A new player too, huh? Player EW. What the hell are you doing? Why are you last? Hitting my minions, are you crazy? Suho decided to teach him a lesson. He typed back, you get more gold from the cannon minions. Hitting the turret gives you double. Player EW. You psycho, stop taking my farm, you son of a bitch, are you trolling me? Just then, his ramen with egg arrived. Ah yes, just put it here. While he was savoring his noodles, Player EW was killed by the enemy Garen. Player EW. You useless piece of... You dumbass, you got me killed. Suho, focused on the heavenly taste of his food, didn't notice that his character was now standing idle. Player EW. WTF, are you doing Teemo? I'll carry you, just come back. Plaz, don't AFK, please, this is my promo game. Suho picked up a piece of pickled radish, completely oblivious to Player EW's plight. Player EW. Fuck you, Teemo, you damn dog, you stole my pentakill, you piece of sock. I'm reporting you. Suho crunched on the radish. The perfect combo. He decided he would eat this again. He took a long gulp of Pepsi. This is paradise. Suddenly his screen went gray. Huh. What happened? I'm dead. You son of a bitch! A furious shout came from behind him. He nearly choked on his soda. He turned to see who was yelling. Who the hell are you? A red-haired girl glared at him. What are you looking at? I'm in a bad mood, so look somewhere else. Then she noticed his screen. What's this? What a coincidence. I don't know if this is good luck or bad. She sneered. Wow. You're even eating ramen with egg in the middle of a match. Seriously. She looked like she was about to explode. Get out of here while I'm still being nice, you son of a bitch. Suho was completely baffled. What are you talking about? Who are you? What do you mean? She shrieked. You damn game ruiner. She lunged at him, but he dodged effortlessly. Huh? She said, surprised. Why are you attacking me all of a sudden? Suho asked, having no intention of starting a fight. He just wanted to enjoy his day off. Don't bully innocent people. The red-haired girl ignored him, lunging again. He dodged, and again, and again. Who the hell are you? She growled, her movements becoming more serious. Were you sent by the Minerva Guild? Minerva Guild? Park Suho recalled that it was one of the top 5 guilds. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't belong to any guild. You're lying, she spat. Someone like you has to be in a guild. And what guild do you belong to? He asked. My guild, she declared proudly. My guild is one of the top 5. The most famous guild, the Red. She stopped, realizing she'd said too much. Damn it, I got too excited. I have to keep that a secret. Suho, seemingly unconcerned, turned to leave. Where do you think you're going? I'm talking to you, she yelled. He glanced back at her, a look of utter disappointment on his face. Ah, so you figured it out. This infuriated her. She got in his face. Stop playing games and answer me properly. I've never heard of an A-rank player not belonging to a guild. He held out his D-rank license. Here. She stared at it, dumbfounded. He was really a rookie. Right, he said, pocketing his card. So be nice. I almost died back there. What? If he's really a rookie, I should have been able to beat him. Is that really a D-rank's skill? So, you're done. I'm leaving, he said coolly, turning his back on her. Wait, could that bastard be? She wondered as he walked away. Outside the PC, Bang Suho looked at his hands. I've lost all my powers, so I'm weak now. But I still have the combat reflexes from years of experience. He thought about her attacks. I didn't think I'd meet someone at my level so soon. That last move. For a moment, she disappeared from my sight. Who is she? Suddenly, he saw her. The red-haired girl was leaping from rooftop to rooftop with incredible agility. She pulled out a phone. Okay, no one's around. She made a call. Yes, this is Cha Yeonju. Connect me to HR. Hello, Mr. Park Jin-woo. I need you to investigate something important. You mean a cultist? The man on the other end exclaimed. Maybe not, she said. He's hiding his identity and seems very suspicious. I checked his player card. His name is Park Suho, and it says he's a D-rank player. A D-rank player? That means he wouldn't have a mana-imprinted device, making it much easier to forge than a C-rank card. But if he is a cultist, he's not at the level of just killing same-level players, she explained. He's skilled enough to predict my moves. Even if you weren't going all out, no cultist we've encountered has been skilled enough to react to your movements. That's right, she thought. I've investigated the cult deeply, but no one has ever been able to keep up with me. She remembered his lightning-fast reflexes. But that bastard. Based on his skill level, he could be a manager or even a leader, Jinwoo continued. Do you think the cult is starting to make a serious move? We can't ignore that possibility, Yeonju said, punching a wall. Find out more about him, quickly. As she hung up, she looked at the button she had snatched from Suho's shirt. Whether he's part of the cult or not is still unclear. Meanwhile, Suho noticed his missing button. I guess I didn't completely dodge it after all. Both were left thinking the same thing. That bastard is stronger than me. If he's really a D-rank player and can fight like that simply because of talent, then I can't. Yeonju thought, clenching her fist. I thought I was finally getting a break. Suho sighed, looking back at the PC bang. Looks like I'll have to head to a C-rank gate as soon as I get my card. As long as he exists, there's no guarantee I can maintain my position as a high-ranking player. To prepare for the future, I must become stronger. Back inside the PC bang, Yeonju looked at her game screen. She had been demoted to bronze.
Park Suho, she growled, crushing his button in her fist. I will find you and kill you. On the street, Suho felt a sudden chill. What was that? Let's see. Dongrang Gate. C rank. He held up his new card. I have to hunt quickly. Hold it, a guard said, stopping him. You can only enter if you're C rank and in a party of 5. Huh? Why? The boss has appeared inside the dungeon. Solo players are forbidden when a boss is present. The boss appeared right when I got my license. What lucky timing, Suho thought. The plaza was buzzing with nervous energy. The boss is here today. Are you crazy? How can we beat the boss? Maybe we should just form parties for today. A C-rank gate is different, Suho observed. The gear is better and the security is tighter. This is the biggest problem. If I want to clear the dungeon myself, I have to go in alone. What should I do? He noticed a confident group of players. All right, let's go take the boss's head. That 1,000,000 won is ours. Most other players, however, were terrified. What should we do? I'm not confident at all. Let's just skip hunting today. Or should we just go for it? Amidst the fear, hesitation, and anticipation, Suho smiled a wicked smile. Then a little bit of madness would be fun. He approached a group of players. 1,000,000 won is a lot of money, and it's been a while since I was a D rank, a blonde player was saying. Suho placed a hand on his shoulder, subtly channeling his power. Humans just need a little push, just a little, and that's enough to influence them. The authority of hysteria flowed through the man. Suddenly, the blonde player's eyes blazed with a manic energy. Hey, why are we like this? He yelled. His comrades looked at him confused. In middle school and high school, we were always beaten up by bullies, he screamed, remembering the humiliation. We could only imagine tearing them apart in our minds. It was hell. But then the gates opened and I thought my dream had come true. I finally had power. I didn't have to grovel like an insect anymore. But what is this? Why are we cowering because of some monsters? He's right, another player shouted, his face red with rage. Why are we always so scared? We just need to kill them all. I won't forgive the bastards who killed my sister. A girl screamed. I'll kill them all. A wave of madness swept through the crowd. I'll kill them all and take the reward for everything I've suffered. That's right. We can't stay in these low-level dungeons forever. A man with a long scar across his eye, who had been hesitant before now, roared with a newfound determination. He's right. I'm tired of living like this, monster or not. I'll make anyone who looks down on me kneel before me. The entire plaza erupted in a deafening roar of pure, unadulterated battle lust. I'll kill all these monsters. I can't take it anymore. Damn those chos. Let's destroy them. Let's go behead the boss. The guards standing before the gate watched this scene bewildered. What's wrong with them? Why are they suddenly screaming like that? A blonde-haired player rushed forward and showed the guards his player card. He couldn't wait any longer and shouted, "Hey, open the gate quickly!" which made the guards swallow nervously. He was followed by other players who seemed to be going into a frenzy as they approached the gate with unprecedented fervor. Yeah, let's kill the boss. Open the gate. The guard was flustered. What's gotten into them? I've never seen anything like this. While he was confused and trying to report to the Internal Affairs Department that a large crowd of players was gathering at the C-rank gate, Park Suho had already quickly slipped inside. Good, very good. It's a beautiful sight when everyone unites, Suho thought to himself. A smirk formed on his face as he added, Of course I'll be taking all the rewards for myself. After that, he stepped through the gate. His feet landed on the hazy sands of a desert. As he walked, he thought, this is completely different from the swamp terrain before. It's so vast. He shielded his eyes from the glaring sun in the desert terrain and continued his thought. Finding the boss will be quite difficult in such a large space. Should I use the power of the sky? Suddenly, Suho looked at his status window. I see now. I think I can use this. He looked at his magic power stat, which was now over 50. It should be possible. So should I use it? He then leaped up onto a high cliff. He stopped, slammed his hand into the sand, and used the power of Astaroth. With this power, Suho could observe everything from a distance. He saw two monsters walking together. Information overload. There's too much. With his eyes glowing red, devoid of pupils, he continued to scan the area. He saw 3 more monsters. Let's see, over there. Suddenly, he found it, the Cho chieftain he had been searching for. Excellent.
After pinpointing the boss's location, Suho withdrew his hand and deactivated the power. There it is. He wiped the sweat from his forehead. But the chieftain has a lot of guards with it. Suho looked down at the players who were pouring into the gate full of confidence. Time for my fourth awakening. Oh ho, they're flooding in. Good, he whispered. Below the cliff, people were shouting, "Let's go behead the chieftain." Standing on the cliff, Suho considered his options. I can use them. He suddenly vanished, leaping from one cliff to another, formulating a plan. I'll use those players to deal with the minions, and I'll handle the chieftain myself. But first, I need to lure them out. Well, then let's begin the attack. With that thought, Suho used his power. He extended his hand and a spear materialized from the space in front of him. He then shifted his footing, drew back the spear, and with his eyes burning with killing intent, he threw it with all his might towards the chieftain. A notification appeared. The C-rank dungeon boss, the Cho chieftain, has been defeated. The Cho minions stared as their leader was killed. A spear pierced through its chest. They were stunned. You will now be awarded experience points. As the one with the greatest contribution to defeating the boss, your experience points will be tripled. You have leveled up 4 times. The final notification faded. Suho, hearing the announcements, was left speechless. Huh. What, it died in one hit? Standing on the cliff, Suho looked down at the scene of the dead Cho chieftain surrounded by its minions. He was shocked. Whoa, that was the boss. He looked at the notification window again. But why was the boss of a C-rank gate so weak? Suho recalled the boss's ferocious appearance. No, it wasn't weak. The information said it was a suitable boss for a C-rank gate. It's just that I'm much stronger than I thought. Suho rolled up his sleeve. I was planning to hunt as carefully as possible. He glanced at the minions. But with this much power, the minions suddenly turned towards Suho. With his sword held firmly, he stepped forward arrogantly. A sinister smile spread across his face. Time for a change of plans. The minions shrieked and charged at Suho in unison. Suho stood still, holding 2 blades, and then smiled. With a face full of murderous intent, Suho declared, "If that's the case, I'll cut you all in half at once." He swung his sword in a wide horizontal arc and instantly appeared behind them. The minions, not yet realizing what had happened, suddenly saw the cuts Suho had left on their bodies begin to glow. The light intensified, and then countless blades erupted from the wounds. Standing behind them, Suho raised his hands and reveled in their agonizing screams. He watched the splattering blood and thought, an attack that shatters the power of the blade inside them. With my current magic power, it's not a problem at all. You have successfully eliminated a horde of Chos. You have leveled up 2 times. You have acquired the skill Earth Sword A rank. Acquired techniques are more effective as skills. Suho looked at the notification in surprise. A skill I heard players can get them by using enough of their unique power. He looked at the dazed, groaning Chos. All right then. With a sinister face and glowing red eyes, Suho extended his hand. A purple liquid dripped from his index finger. Shall we test it out? The purple liquid hit the ground and spread out in concentric circles toward the monsters. The confused creatures groaned in bewilderment. When the circles reached their feet, countless blades erupted from the ground, impaling them. The monsters shrieked in pain and fear, trying to escape the affected area, but it was futile. Immediately after, a storm of slashes rained down on them, tearing them to shreds. Suho stood amidst the dismembered corpses and let out a breath. Phew, it really is more effective. He looked at the pile of bodies. Well then, time to enjoy the fruits of my labor. Suho used the power of predation and absorbed the corpses. Magic power has increased by 2. Suho was surprised. Only 2. He looked at his palm. His other hand on his chin as the notification window floated before him. Is it because my magic power stat has already reached 50? It only went up by 2 even when I exchanged all my mana stones. So this is what they meant when they said stats become harder to raise. After finishing the absorption, he thought, my leveling speed is still quite good. Just 4 more levels until my 4th awakening. I should hunt a bit more before heading back. With that, he vanished. Meanwhile, with the other players, hey, where's the boss? I thought we were going for a big raid this time. I don't see it anywhere. Are you sure the government didn't miscalculate? Forget the boss, I haven't even seen a single Cho. Wait, no, I saw a few running away strangely earlier. They looked at the cracked and sunken ground. There are tracks, but no corpse. Let's just go back. Yeah, that's the best option. The blonde player put his hands on his head and yelled in frustration. Just a little further. Damn it, this can't be right. How could they miscalculate? Should I file a complaint or something? Hiding behind a tree. Suho quietly observed them. What a relief. It seems the power of fury is still in effect. The surrounding players, disappointed, decided to leave. Man, today is so frustrating. What kind of special day is this, you bastards? Just tell us there's a boss and get us all prepared for nothing. Suho silently followed them. I should quietly join the group and use them as cover to get out of here. Stepping out of the gate, the players angrily confronted the guards. Hey, how could you get the time wrong? If I'd known, I wouldn't have taken the day off work. How are you going to compensate us, huh? Suho mixed in with the furious crowd thought. Good, keep it up. Before he could finish his thought, a loud voice shouted, "Silence!" Suho was startled and whipped his head around. A troop in red uniforms stood there solemnly. The crowd began to murmur. The Hwarang Guild! Why is the Hwarang Guild here? Is there an emergency? No matter how angry you are, you shouldn't risk your life like that. Why are so many of them here? What's going on? One person sighed in frustration. Damn, I just want to go home. What a waste of time. Suddenly, a person with long white hair slowly walked forward. Huh. Hey, look. Isn't that the captain of Hwarang's third team, Baek Wasson? Wasson slammed her sword into the ground and shouted, "Silence! We have something to say to you players." The guards all raised their hands in a salute. Baek Wasson's sharp eyes scanned the crowd. We've recently received information about a chaotic player in the D-rank gate area. Chaotic players are those with power exceeding their level, so we will be randomly inspecting players who are at or above their third awakening. We request your full cooperation. In the middle of the crowd, Suho's face showed clear anxiety. A chaotic player. I've heard those rumors. Find the chaotic player, huh? Another player muttered. Suho bit his lip and remained silent. The inspectors' voices could be heard. Please wait a moment. Show us your player cards. Baek Wasson stood straight, her hands resting on her sword, her gaze sharp as she oversaw the inspection. There's no way they can find me, right? Suho thought. Don't worry, the inspection process won't be complicated, an inspector said. We have a few players on our list, but today we will only conduct a preliminary investigation before leaving. A drop of sweat trickled down Suho's cheek. I did cause some trouble today. They can't be talking about me, can they? He looked at the people in red. If it really is me, it would be very dangerous to fight them now. There are too many people watching, so I can't escape. He looked at the white-haired woman, especially that woman named Wasson. She looks tough. If possible, I'd like to slip away quietly. How do I get out of this? Suddenly, Baek Wasson approached him. Please show me your player card. Did you lose it? Startled Suho jumped. Ah, wait a moment here. He handed her his card. Was I worrying too much? Baek Wasson took his card and examined it. Looks like I wasn't discovered, Suho thought with relief. But I should be more careful from now on. The chaotic players have started to make their move. He wondered if he should try to get more information from her. Thank you for inspecting me personally, he said. I don't feel at ease sitting back and having others do the work, she replied carefully, inspecting his card. What an amazing woman, he thought. Aloud he said, That's admirable. It seems there are a lot of chaotic players recently. Her sharp eyes were reflected in his player card. That's right, she replied. It's why we conduct these random checks. I've confirmed it. She handed the card back to him. Ah, yes. Thank you for clearing me, Suho said, taking the card. His eyes drifted downward as he added, Hunting monsters is enough to make a living. It's terrifying that people would kill each other for money. I suppose so, Wasson replied. Money is a frightening thing. Hearing this, Suho narrowed his eyes and looked up at her. Exactly. I think so too. But in his heart, he thought lies. They already know the chaotic players aren't after money. He looked at Wasson, who was turning to leave. The government is also targeting the demonic cult. He suddenly called out to her. Could you tell me which chaotic players you're targeting? If I see them, I'll report it to the organization. Baek Wasson smiled. Thank you for your offer, but please leave that to us. Protecting players is our duty. Suho laughed. Ha ha ha, of course. Wasson advised him, It seems you only recently reached C rank. I understand the desire to enter higher rank gates, but it would be safer for you to level up gradually in D rank gates. Ah, I understand. Thank you, Suho replied. It's hard to find good people like you these days, Wasson said with a smile. I hope to see more players like you in the future. Suho looked away and gave a forced laugh. Ha ha ha, thank you. If there were more players like me, it would be a huge problem, he thought. A secret investigation, huh? So the government is also investigating the demon worshippers. I should go home. He took out his phone and made a call. Taesu, do you want to meet up? A few days later at a cafe, Suho met with Taesu and Seola. Ah, it's nice to meet you, Taesu said cheerfully, extending his large hand toward Seola. You must be the healer he's always talking about, right? Seola looked up at Taesu a bit flustered. Ah, yes. She shyly reached out to shake his hand. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Han Seola. Standing beside them, Suho saw Seola's expression, and his face flushed slightly. Taesu gave him a teasing, excited look. She's beautiful, Suho. Just stop staring, Suho replied coldly. Inside the cafe, Suho sat down and said, Anyway, Taesu, like I said, I'd like you to take Seola hunting in a D-rank gate. Of course, Taesu responded enthusiastically. I would have asked anyway, a healer with a B-rank trait. He then teased, Is my sister-in-law's only trait healing? At that, both Suho and Seola blushed. Sister-in-law, Seola muttered. Taesu laughed heartily. KK, no need to be shy. Tell me the details of your trait. Ah, yes, Seola said, still a bit shy but excited to explain. My trait is called Blessing of Light. Besides healing, I can also use buffs to increase strength, health, and dexterity. Taesu's expression was one of pure amazement. Oh, so you can heal and buff at the same time? Yes, Seola continued shyly. And though it's not very strong, I can also use some combat skills. Wow, that's incredible, Suho, Taesu exclaimed. A healer who can buff and handle enemies is extremely rare. Even big guilds like Hanun would recruit your sister-in-law immediately. Seola beamed. Haha, thank you, Taesu. Suho, sipping his lemonade, was inwardly astonished. Whoa, she's that good. He looked at Seola with a pleased expression. Sister-in-law, huh? I'm not going to deny that. But for now, I don't want to join any guild, Seola added. Heh, me neither, Taesu said cheerfully. He lifted his cup of Americano, downed it in one gulp, and said with satisfaction, because from now on, I want to leave my mark on player history with my brother Suho here. That's not beer, you know, Suho commented on the way he drank. Taesu wiped his mouth. So refreshing. A hot Americano is the best, right, my brother? Suho gave him a judgmental look. Do you think you're drinking soup or something? He then calmly asked. So, have you thought of anyone else to complete a party? Of course I found 2 excellent people, Taesu replied. He thought about them for a moment. I heard they just had their second awakening. They're so talented, I always wondered why they hadn't joined a guild yet. I'm sure you'll like them. I'm great at judging people. Suho recalled the scene of Taesu being betrayed by his former comrades. A dark look crossed his face. Good at judging people, huh? I make mistakes sometimes, Taesu continued, but overall I'm pretty good. I met them when I was just starting out hunting goblins. They're trustworthy people. If it's okay with you, I'll introduce them to you tomorrow before we go hunting. Suho turned to Seola. That sounds good. What do you think, Miss Seola? Oh, Seola was a bit surprised. If they're your friends, Suho, then of course it's fine, Seola said shyly. I have to level up quickly so I can go with you, Suho. Suho's face also flushed red as he replied, Please take your time. Your safety is the most important thing. Seeing this from the side, Taesu became delighted. So sweet, so cute, my brother. Just stop staring, Suho replied. Taesu informed him. Let's meet tomorrow in West Incheon. I'll send you the address. Huh, Suho asked. There's a D-rank gate nearby. Why do we have to go all the way there? Taesu explained. Haven't there been too many accidents at that gate? So this time I want to change our target to hunting Chos at the West Incheon gate instead of lizardmen. Oh ho, a newcomer fighting D-rank Chos, Suho remarked with surprise. Yeah, they're stronger, so we'll get more levels. Plus they're easier to hunt since we don't have to be quiet like in the swamp, Taesu explained. Suho looked at Taesu and smiled. That's a good idea. He thought to himself, he's actually pretty smart. A subordinate like this is more than good enough. After finishing his lemonade, Suho stood up. All right, see you tomorrow then. You're leaving now? Taesu asked. Yeah, Suho replied. I have something to do today. Confused, Taesu asked. Oh, what is it? Suho rolled up his sleeve and said calmly, leveling up. With his eyes glowing red, Suho calculated. My current level is 29. Just one step away from the 4th awakening. Well then, let's begin. He activated the power of observation. He located a group of 8 Cho minions. Suho leaped in, swooped past the group, and left a single cut on each of them. The Chos, still dazed and confused, suddenly found their heads flying from their necks. With his sword dripping with monster blood, Suho sighed. Phew, how many more do I have to hunt? Suddenly he caught a scent. This smell. Blood. It's the smell of human blood. He leaped across the cliffs thinking, the smell of human blood is normal in a hunting ground, but for it to be this strong. It must have been a massacre. 5 or 6 people. An entire party of players massacred in an instant, even without a boss. Leaping from cliff to find the source of the smell, he deduced, something like this is most likely the work of a chaotic player. Found it. Suho found the corpses of the players who had died there. He flew down to check the scene. Looking at the players who died with their eyes open, one still clutching his sword, he thought, they're all dead. The demonic cult wouldn't kill players since they need live sacrifices for their rituals. So then who did this? As the smell of blood hadn't spread far yet, he continued to think with his arms crossed. The culprit is still nearby. Who could it be? Before he could finish his thought, he glanced to his side with a horrified expression. Huh! A grotesque monster with long, sharp iron teeth stood there, a human arm dangling from its mouth as it made a gruesome sound. The monster opened its mouth wide and let out a terrifying roar. It was a hellhound. Witnessing this, Suho was stunned. Why is a hellhound here? Instantly, the monster opened its mouth, lunged at him, and pointed its sharp claws in his direction, giving him no time to react. Tisk! Suho tensed up, looking up at the monster. He swung his sword horizontally at its body, but the attack seemed to have no effect. Gritting his teeth, Suho thought strong. It really is a hellhound. The beast then began to open its mouth wide, gathering energy. It fired a massive fireball at him. The fireball caused a huge explosion, engulfing a large area of the desert in flames and dust. Suddenly, the hellhound looked up. Using the rock sent flying by the explosion, Suho moved nimbly through the air. If a sword doesn't work, then how about this? He channeled energy concentrating power between his hands and used the power of the dark spear to summon the same spear he had used to kill the boss earlier. He then jumped up, spinning the spear in midair. The monster looked up at the light emanating from Suho's position. Suho threw the spear with all his might, piercing the hellhound's body. The beast cried out in pain. Suho landed and let out a sigh of relief. Is it dead? Before he could finish the thought, he was horrified. Ah, damn, I just made it angrier. The enraged beast charged at him wildly. Suho stomped hard on the ground, cracking it as he prepared his stance. I have to create an opening. With that thought, he jumped up, extended his leg, and kicked the beast hard in the mouth, breaking a few of its teeth. After landing, his face tensed. I've got an opening! Now. He raised both hands, concentrating his power as the monster charged with its mouth wide open. He then channeled the power into the ground, activating the power of earthquake. The surrounding ground shattered, causing the monster to lose its footing and howl. Quickly seizing the opportunity, Suho leaped up, channeling power into his hand to create a new weapon. He summoned his spear, aimed it straight at the monster, and charged, plunging it directly into the beast's head. Suho gritted his teeth and strained, putting all his force into the spear. The sound of the beast's skull cracking echoed. Its jaws were locked shut, unable to move. The beast's massive body went limp and fell into the deep pit created by the earthquake. Another tremor occurred, sending rocks and dirt flying. Finally, only a bottomless pit remained. Suddenly, the hellhound leaped out of the pit, swatting Suho down to the ground. 2 spears were still stuck in its body. The force of the attack made Suho skid across the ground to regain his balance. Suho gritted his teeth, staring intently at the beast. He slowly stood up, thinking, it's pretty tough. An attack of this level isn't enough. His face was covered in sweat as he watched the beast. It's still just as strong as before. Suho watched the snarling beast prepare to attack again. He sensed it. Here it comes. The beast's body began to crack open, revealing something glowing bright red that gradually enveloped it. In an instant, its body erupted into flames. It charged at Suho, leaving a cloud of sand and dust behind, moving with blinding speed. Suho showed no fear. He smiled contemptuously and said, it's still just a mindless beast. He continued to channel power into his hands, concentrating his strength. He then activated the power of Baphomet's sanctity, buffing his own body. Sensing the unusual power, the hellhound suddenly slammed on the brakes in fear, skidding to a halt right in front of Suho. Suho's eyes were white, devoid of pupils, and his teeth were clenched. He swung his arm with immense force, landing a cinematic uppercut on the beast. The blow sent the creature, which weighed hundreds of tons, flying high into the air, writhing in pain. It then crashed back down, kicking up a blinding cloud of dust. Suho let out a breath. Phew! That was tough. Before he could rest, the beast stood up again. Damn it. If only I could use 2 powers at once, this would be better. He raised his hands into a defensive stance, took a deep breath, and thought, good thing I've defeated these things many times in hell. My current level is more than enough to take it down. Now then. Before he could finish his plan, the beast stumbled and fell back into the pit, surprising him. Oh, Suho sighed. Phew, what a pain. A notification appeared. You have successfully eliminated a shard of the C-rank rift. Suho was surprised and glanced at the notification window. Your EXP has increased. You have leveled up 5 times. As you have reached level 30, the 4th awakening will now commence. 4th awakening trait. Ruler of Magic, a rank. Effect. You can control magic power much more fluently and quickly. You can completely erase traces of your magic power on other beings. The system continued to display notifications after Suho defeated the monster. Final notification. You have defeated a C-rank shard of the rift. Standing next to the corpse of the monster he had just killed, Suho looked at the notification and wondered. A shard of the rift. He glanced down, thinking for a long moment. Now that I think about it, I've never heard of a rift core before. Does that mean hell is the rift? He looked at the monster's corpse, the spear he had thrown still embedded in it. Suho was alarmed. Wait a minute, how did these things get here? He stood there for a long time, his mind racing with possibilities. A vision of a happy hellhound surrounded by servants in hell flashed through his mind. He put a hand on his chin, pondering. Hellhounds aren't supposed to be able to use the weapons of the 7 princes of hell. No, first of all, what is this rift? Is it really just hell? Suho scratched his head and pointed a finger at the status window. Forget it. Thinking about things with no clues is just a waste of time. Let's check the rest of the notifications. He looked at the status window and sighed. There's so much. Suddenly, something caught his eye. Oh, what's this? As you have reached level 30, the 4th awakening will now commence. 4th awakening trait. Ruler of Magic, A rank. Effect. You can control magic power much more fluently and quickly.
You can completely erase traces of your magic power on other beings. Looking at the text, Suho thought the fourth awakening is even an A rank. A smile spread across his face as he extended his hand towards the monster. Now that I've reached the fourth awakening, I don't have to worry about annoying things like this anymore. Well then, time to feast. He activated the power of gluttony. Countless dark shadows emerged from behind him and rushed forward, devouring the monster whole, absorbing the power of the beast he had just killed. A villainous smile formed on his face, his red eyes fixed on the monster as dark thoughts began to surface. If I could regain the data from the Mariah's grimoire, I might become even stronger than I was in hell. Leveling up is the best solution. The black shadows tore the beast apart with their sharp teeth. Leveling up is the ultimate solution, Suho thought. The weather was warm with a clear blue sky dotted with skyscrapers. Suho stepped out of the gate, stretched his arms high, and said with a smile, "Time to go home." With a satisfied and cheerful expression, he thought today was great. A bowl of kimchi stew at home would make it perfect. Suddenly a voice called out, "Hey!" He glanced over. It was the red-haired girl from the PC Bang, Cha Yeonju. She had been waiting for him. She pulled down her hood, revealing cold blue eyes and a black choker with a silver flower charm. "Long time no see," she said. Suho sighed with a look of annoyance. "Ah." He spoke calmly to her. "I don't think we're close enough to greet each other. We don't even know each other's names, and didn't we settle things at the PC Bang?" Before he could finish, she cut him off and introduced herself. "Cha Yeonju. My name is Cha Yeonju." The name sounded familiar. Suho suddenly remembered a conversation between two players. Nothing compared to people like Bae Kang-chul and Cha Yeonju. His eyes widened. I've definitely heard that name before. An image of the 5 guildmasters appeared in his mind. Isn't that the name of one of the 5 great guildmasters, Mir Hanun Sonorai? He then blurted out, "Red Rose." Cha Yeonju adjusted her hood and smirked. "That's right. I'm the guildmaster of Red Rose." Suho suddenly recalled the incident at the PC Bang. A drop of sweat trickled down his cheek. So that's why she was so strong. He asked her, "So what does the guildmaster want with me?" Cha Yeonju crossed her arms. "I did a little research on you. Name Oh Suho. Born in 1995, currently 28 years old. Raised at the Jungsong orphanage, never adopted. Lived alone after leaving the orphanage." Hearing this, Suho's expression showed a hint of surprise. She continued, "There are no traces of you for the past 5 years, but this year you suddenly registered as a player. Am I correct?" "I don't know why you investigated me," Suho replied with a cold face. "But yes, you are completely correct." Cha Yeonju looked at her phone and continued. "You registered as a player on March 16th, about 3 weeks ago. The Player Support Center's evaluation assessed your first awakening as F rank. But I'm guessing that was wrong. If you were really an F rank, you wouldn't have been able to hunt in a C rank gate after just 3 weeks. Hearing this, Suho's cheerful expression vanished, replaced by a dark, grim look, his eyes looking like they wanted to eat her alive. He remained silent, listening to her interrogation. She went on. "After 5 years, you suddenly appear and are now hunting in C-rank gates. At first I thought you might have bought an identity from a criminal organization, but everything from your face to your fingerprints matches your old records." "Fingerprints?" Suho asked, alarmed. "How did you get those?" "You have to provide fingerprints when you register, don't you?" she replied, still looking at her phone. Suho was surprised. "They have a record of the gates I've entered and even my fingerprints. The major guilds have more power than I thought." "I have confirmed that you're not using a fake identity," she said, closing her phone. "If that's the case..." Her piercing blue eyes met his. "You are a player of exceptional talent. You might even be greater than me, or even Baek Kang-chul." Suho looked at her with a cold expression, saying nothing. Then he rested his chin on his hand and said hesitantly, "Thanks for the compliment." He then asked, "But what exactly do you want?" Cha Yeonju crossed her arms, holding her phone, and thought for a moment. She looked at Suho and said, "I want to sponsor you. As the guild master of Red Rose, I want to sponsor a talented player like Oh Suho." Suho was surprised, then clutched his stomach and laughed. "I didn't expect that." "What did you think I was going to say?" she asked. "I thought you wanted me to join Red Rose," Suho said with a smile. Cha Yeonju smiled back. "Why would I let someone hiding under the guise of an F rank join my guild right away? Besides," she continued, "if you wanted to join a guild, you wouldn't have hidden your strength in the first place." "I'm not hiding anything," Suho thought to himself. He closed his eyes, crossed his arms, and smirked. So what kind of sponsorship are you offering?" "To put it simply, financial support. I'll help you level up faster," she explained cheerfully. Suho smiled and teased her sarcastically. "And what do you get out of it? You want my help in that game from last time?" Hearing this, Cha Yeonju flared up in anger. She clenched her fist and cursed, "Hey, you bastard!" She tried to calm herself down, placing a hand on her head and taking deep breaths. "Phew, it's okay," she muttered to herself. I'm a guildmaster. I'm a guildmaster. I just want to make a deal with you. Suho chuckled. I was just kidding. It was my first time playing that game, so I had no idea what to do. Ha! Every time I think about how I didn't get to silver rank because of you, Cha Yeonju complained, dissatisfied. Suho touched his chin, curious. Huh. So, you're in bronze rank now? That seems pretty low. Cha Yeonju's face flushed with embarrassment. She quickly explained, No, not at all. I'm more than capable of reaching silver, but every time I form a team, I end up with people like you. Suho changed the subject. Anyway, back to the main point. Why do you want to sponsor me so badly? Cha Yeonju calmly adjusted her hood, a drop of sweat running down her cheek. Because you will become stronger, she said. She looked at him and analyzed. You're a newcomer who just registered 2 weeks ago, but you're leveling up at a terrifying pace. You're hunting solo in D rank and even C rank gates. You will become even stronger than you are now. What exactly will you give me? Suho asked. First, we will give you a temporary gate pass that allows you to enter gates up to A rank without any restrictions, she explained. Hearing this, a pleased smirk appeared on Suho's face. Oh, that sounds good. If you want to form a party, she continued, we will match you with guild members of your requested level. If you want to sell mana stones through us, we will reduce the tax as much as possible for you. Reduced taxes and party support. He thought to himself, this is great. We can also lend you equipment. Special grade weapons and above will require a deposit, but lower tier items can be borrowed for free. If necessary, we will also provide you with a house and a car. She continued listing the benefits. Hearing all this, he felt a bit wary. His face filled with suspicion. This is so generous, it's suspicious. What are you thinking? Cha Yeonju asked. This is an investment in the future. Suho crossed his arms, his expression still skeptical. Even so, this is a bit too much. She continued to explain, we won't just give you everything for free. The guild will also assign you many missions. When that time comes, I expect you to comply. Hearing this, Suho thought to himself, that means this guild has a lot of missions. They're probably sponsoring me to get my help with some of them. After thinking it over, he asked, can you tell me more about the missions? Cha Yeonju replied coldly, no, not right now. He put a hand on the back of his neck, thinking, this is probably going to be a long story. Then he said to her, all right, I won't pry. He continued to think, if the missions are too unreasonable, I can probably still refuse. He extended his hand. All right, I accept your offer. As he spoke, a cunning smile spread across his face, revealing his canines. Cha Yeonju let out a sigh of relief. She smirked, smiled, and extended her hand. This isn't just a chance to connect with a major guild, but also an opportunity to get their support, Suho thought. Suho and Cha Yeonju shook hands, sealing the deal. I can't miss an opportunity like this, he thought. They shook hands cheerfully, agreeing to the terms. All right, Suho said happily. I accept your offer. Cha Yeonju also replied cheerfully. A wise choice. So, Suho asked curiously, when are you going to tell me about the missions? Cha Yeonju turned her face away. When the time comes. What can you even do at your current level? Hearing this, Suho was taken aback. Huh, he told her, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. Huh, what? Cha Yeonju was surprised. Suho pointed to himself and declared confidently, I'm much stronger than you think. Cha Yeonju was stunned for a moment, then turned away and chuckled to herself. Arrogant bastard, she thought. Then she said, all right, your being weak isn't the reason I'm not telling you. Then what is it? Suho asked curiously. Cha Yeonju took out her phone and looked at it. We don't have enough evidence yet. I can't say anything until I'm completely sure. Hearing this, Suho rested his chin on his hand and thought for a moment. Well, I won't push her then. Cha Yeonju raised her hand, holding out her phone to Suho. Put in your number. All right, Suho replied. As he held her phone and entered his number, he asked, anyway, when can I get the equipment? Cha Yeonju crossed her arms and replied, anytime. She then asked if he wanted to get it right now. That'd be great, Suho replied, handing her phone back. To get more magic power. I need equipment, he thought. Cha Yeonju turned and started walking. Follow me, we're going to the guild headquarters. Suho instinctively followed. Where is it? He asked. She turned her head and answered, Gangnam. Everyone around was overwhelmed by what was in front of them. Whoa, look at that car. Even a little kid was visibly excited, begging his father to buy one. Dad, it looks so cool. Buy it, Dad. Yeah, Dad will work really hard. The people around were murmuring about the car in front of them. Is that a Porsche 918 Spider? The murmurs continued. They have that model in Korea. Whose is it? Suddenly someone opened the car door. Hey! It turned out to be Cha Yeonju's car. She told Suho to get in. Standing in front of the car, Suho couldn't help but be amazed. Whoa! He got inside his face, still showing his shock. He instinctively asked Cha Yeonju, how much did this car cost? Cha Yeonju replied nonchalantly, I just bought it, so I don't really remember.
Probably around 10 billion won, something like that. Hearing this, Suho's eyes lit up with desire, and he was rendered speechless. He then looked at Cha Yeonju as she drove and thought, is this the same person who was wearing sloppy clothes and a baseball cap playing games at the PC Bang? Is this why people love foreign cars so much? The car started to move. Sitting inside, Suho was still amazed. It's expensive, so it runs smoothly, huh? Hearing this, Cha Yeonju smirked and said, what, you want me to buy you one? Really? Suho asked, surprised. I did say we could provide you with a car, she replied calmly. Suddenly, Suho called her Nuna. With sparkling eyes, he looked at her and said, from now on, I'll call you Yeonju Nuna. Hearing this, Cha Yeonju pouted, her eyes full of judgment. What did you just say? That's disgusting. I might just smash the airbag on your side. Suho turned his head, sweat beading on his face. Maybe that was a bit too much, he thought. He said to her, you should watch the road. Feel free to provide me with a car like this. Cha Yeonju, fuming, informed him, if you refuse a mission or fail, I'll confiscate it immediately. What a petty rancor, Suho teased. Shut up, she retorted angrily. Do you have any idea how many people I have to support? All right, I'll shut up, Suho replied calmly, his eyes on the road ahead. Please just watch the road. They stopped in front of a skyscraper with red-trimmed frames. Sunlight reflected off the glass panels, creating dazzling glints of light. We're here. This is the guild headquarters, Cha Yeonju announced. While Cha Yeonju was talking to a valet about the car keys, Suho looked up at the building with an astonished expression. This is insane. He looked up at the building and thought, it's as big as the player support center. Major guilds are this powerful. What are you doing? Cha Yeonju asked, telling him to come inside. It really was a wise decision to ally myself with a major guild, Suho thought as he entered the building. Inside, two people were already waiting. A man with long, light brown hair and glasses said, you're here. He extended his hand in greeting. You must be the person the guildmaster mentioned. He bowed politely and introduced himself. It's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Bak Hyung-gu, the head of the Human Resources Management Department. Suho extended his hand in return. I'm Suho. As he greeted him, he instinctively glanced at the person next to him, who was surrounded by bright blue flames. This is Commander-in-Chief Moon Young-ho, Bak Hyung-gu introduced. Suho looked at the commander's tall figure with confusion. Moon Young-ho stared at him with a stern and angry expression, which left Suho wondering, Commander-in-Chief, why is he looking at me like that? Interrupting his thoughts, Bak Hyung-gu continued, Since you're here, I assume the agreement went well. Thank you for accepting our offer. Even if there was some conspiracy, I couldn't refuse such a good offer, Suho replied cheerfully. Bak Hyung-gu laughed politely. Haha, our guild isn't that sinister. Cha Yeonju, standing beside them, looked confused. Well then, shall I take you to the armory? Bak Hyung-gu offered. I'll take him, Cha Yeonju interjected. You have a lot of work to do, Hyung-gu. Bak Hyung-gu bowed politely. Thank you, Guildmaster. Then I'll go with you, Mun Young-ho said with a stern face. Suho and Cha Yeonju both looked up at him, puzzled. Why? She asked. I want to see for myself what kind of person he is. Mun Young-ho replied angrily. Suho just smirked with cold eyes. All right, fine, Cha Yeonju said. It's good to get acquainted. You two will be seeing each other often. You can come along, Young-ho. They entered the elevator. It slowly ascended to the 14th floor, then the 15th, where the doors opened. After the doors closed behind them, Suho followed the two of them. As they walked, Cha Yeonju, with her hands in her jacket pockets, introduced the place. This is our guild's armory. She used her hand to activate the vault door. But I have to say this up front, I can't lend you everything. Suho's jaw dropped in amazement as he watched the vault door slowly open. But you can take anything from epic rank and below, she continued. She looked at Suho and added, As for the special rank items over there, you can borrow them if you pay a deposit. Take your time looking around. Suho's eyes glowed with astonishment. He touched the glass cases containing the weapons and asked, Are there no legendary or mythical rank items in the armory? If we had any, we'd be using them, not leaving them here, Cha Yeonju replied. He turned to look at her. Right. Do you have any equipment above legendary rank? Cha Yeonju lowered her head and replied confidently, Of course, I have legendary rank equipment. Curious Suho asked, How much would I have to pay to borrow something like that? 50 million won, she replied. And that's with a generous discount. I see. Suho looked at his reflection in the glass, his face showing his disappointment. I can't afford that at all. He said, Then I'll just look at the epic rank equipment. Before he could finish, a loud noise came from behind him. Cha Yeonju and Suho both instinctively looked back. Commander-in-Chief Mun Young-ho stood in front of him, his face furious, and ordered, Use formal language. Huh, what? Suho was confused. I said use formal language when speaking to the guildmaster. Mun Young-ho said sternly, his face contorted in anger, his teeth gritted, creating a tense atmosphere. Suho smirked with a provocative look on his face. I don't feel like it, he said. Facing the fuming Moon Young-ho, he said arrogantly, "What if I don't want to?" Moon Young-ho gritted his teeth in anger and drew his sword. Suho, seeing this, showed no fear and just smirked. Moon Young-ho drew his sword and swung. Just as the sword was about to hit Suho's face, a loud voice shouted, "Young-ho!" The sword reflected the image of Cha Yeon-ju, who was radiating killing intent. "Hey, Moon Young-ho!" she yelled, approaching him. "What do you think you're doing?" She was so furious her eyes were bloodshot and veins popped on her forehead. She clenched her fists. "Look here," she cursed. "Are you deaf or something?" Faced with these words, Moon Young-ho, holding his sword, trembled and stammered, It's just that this rookie dared." Before he could finish, she jumped in. "Even if he cursed at me, that's my business. Don't stick your nose in other people's affairs. Moon Young-ho." Suho stood between them, calmly listening to their conversation. Moon Young-ho obediently complied. "I understand, Captain." Cha Yeon-ju pointed at Suho and continued. "And you, Suho, you shouldn't respond like that. Provoking Young-ho like that could get you beaten to a pulp." Suho raised a hand and rubbed his head nonchalantly. Okay, whatever." He looked at Moon Young-ho and thought, at least he's loyal. This guild probably isn't weak. Cha Yeon-ju, still angry, wondered if he had even heard what she said. "Well then, Yeon-ju Nuna," Suho continued. "Good grief, what now?" she replied. With a mischievous look on his face, Suho rubbed his hands together and pleaded, "I don't need that fancy car from before. Just let me borrow one special grade item. Trust me, I'll pay you back principal and interest very soon." "Not right now," Cha Yeon-ju replied, "but after the internal meeting I might be able to lend you one." As soon as she finished, Moon Young-ho suddenly punched the glass case above Suho's head. He gritted his teeth in anger and demanded, "Nuna, did you just call her Nuna?" He continued to mutter angrily, "How dare you? How dare you?" Suho maintained his calm expression as he looked at him. As soon as he finished speaking, Moon Young-ho drew his sword again, intending to attack him. He raised his sword and swung it down hard, causing dust and debris to fly everywhere. Suddenly he was startled. "Hey, Moon Young-ho!" Cha Yeon-ju blocked his sword and stared at him with furious wide eyes. "Have you forgotten what I said? Should I consider this an act of insubordination?" Watching this from the side, Suho let out a contemptuous smile. Moon Young-ho, sweating profusely with fear, stammered, "But, Guildmaster, this bastard—" Suddenly she knocked his sword to the ground, causing his large body to collapse. "It seems I have to teach you a lesson. Hey, Moon Young-ho, get out, now!" Hearing this, Suho just glanced down and smiled. Cha Yeon-ju, radiating killing intent with flames surrounding her, looked down at him as he knelt on the ground and declared, "If you cause trouble one more time, I will call a disciplinary hearing." She advised him, "Think about your position as Commander-in-Chief of Combat." Moon Young-ho, sweating with fear, stammered, I'm sorry." Cha Yeon-ju bowed her head in embarrassment. "I'm sorry you had to see such an unpleasant scene. I will punish him severely." It's okay," Suho said, resting his chin on his hand. Moon Young-ho stood up and sheathed his sword. "So, which special grade item do you need?" Cha Yeon-ju asked. "I'll bring it up at the meeting." Suho thought for a moment and replied, "I want a set of armor that's comfortable to wear. It would be even better if it has good basic functions." Cha Yeon-ju rested her chin on her hand, thinking, "Armor, huh?" Suddenly a voice made her look up. "You need armor." Moon Young-ho stood angrily in front of Suho, pointing to the armor he was wearing. "Then how about this? If you can beat me in a fight, I'll give you this set. It's special grade and has many good features." After saying this, he looked fearfully at Cha Yeon-ju. She clenched her fists in anger. "Moon Young-ho," she said, her voice dangerously low. She slowly advanced each step, cracking the floor. She emphasized each word with fury. "I told you to get out." This made Moon Young-ho tremble with fear. Suddenly, Suho raised his hand to stop her. "Wait," he said, which confused Cha Yeon-ju. "Huh." He looked at Moon Young-ho and continued, "That fight, I'll take it." "What?" She looked at Suho with a bewildered expression. Then she thought, "This guy will definitely—" She remembered trying and failing to catch him at the PC bang. "He's become as strong as me. No, maybe even stronger. But Moon Young-ho is currently level 67. He's already surpassed the limit that can be reached with just effort, and he's about to reach his 6th awakening, nearing the 7th that only top hunters can achieve. No matter how talented this guy is, he's not ready." Suho smiled. "Moon Young-ho, I quite like that idea of yours." "Suho, don't provoke him," Cha Yeon-ju advised from the side. "Trust me, it's fine," Suho replied confidently. His face suddenly turned cold, his smile becoming sinister. "He wants to give it to me, so why shouldn't I take it?" "I like the way you think," Moon Young-ho sneered down at Suho. He thought to himself, he won't be able to disrespect the guildmaster ever again. "Hey, what are you thinking?" Cha Yeon-ju said worriedly. Moon Young-ho remembered the past when she had saved him from a monster. "She is my savior and my teacher, the one to whom I swore my loyalty." He touched the scar over his eye. "And the woman to whom I have given my heart." His face filled with rage. "But how dare he?" Stop it. You'll die, Cha Yonju warned, worried. Suho ignored her words, feeling excited. Special grade equipment. Excellent. He looked at the scene before him and decided, this mediocre fool. I'll make you realize this fight was the mistake of your life. The scene changed to the combat room. The three of them entered. Suho looked around curiously. Nice. Let's see how long you can stay calm, Mun Yongho said. Cha Yonju followed behind them, her arms crossed, silent. Suho calmly started warming up. Watch closely. Hey, oh Suho, Cha Yonju whispered to him. Do you know how crazy this is? I told you it's fine. Suho continued his warm-up. You're going to regret this, Cha Yonju said, throwing her hands up in defeat. You can start whenever you want, Mun Yongho said arrogantly. I'll give you the first 3 seconds. Attack however you like. Suho cracked his knuckles and laughed. Ha ha. Oh boy, did you learn that from a wuxia movie or something? Stop trying to act cool and raise your sword, old man. Huh, didn't you hear me? Suho's face turned cold. Mun Yongho stood with his arms crossed, still arrogant. I have no intention of going all out against a rookie. Suho crouched down. Oh, is that so? Cha Yonju, standing beside them, didn't know what to say. Well then. As soon as he finished the sentence, purple circles of light appeared at his feet. Suho sprang into action, surprising Cha Yonju. He immediately used the power of speed and lunged forward at a dizzying velocity.